No, you don't have to say those words again. Oh no, and you don't have to. No, you don't have to go and explain yourself, 'cause I ain't gonna listen. Yeah, all you wanted was a souvenir to remember it all. Yeah, you tore it apart down to every last piece. Yeah, a souvenir, another story to tell. And I gotta know how to find happiness in the wrong place. 'Cause it never ends, it's there in all ways. It's evident you never change for our sake. We're falling now. Your little black book ran out of pages. If you're gonna take it all, then baby, don't waste it. You only want it if you know you're gonna break it. Just another souvenir for the take, yeah. Just take it. Baby, just take it. You don't have to. No, you don't have to say those words again.
Tries to hold on to the bottom. Here comes Gisette. They make contact. They touch once, twice, 3 times.
Foul trouble! Oh, no, Rocky into the wall. Big crash front straightaway. Huge crash coming into the triangle. No, Rocky up and into the air. They're beating and banging. Barr on the bottom. Cosman up top. Cosman, I think. No. Barr by 1/1000th of a second. Joseph, no! At the line, Third Horse pulls the win out at the stripe. Oh, he saves it. What's going to happen here? Here comes the canvas. Get your foot there. He got it. He's got it. He's got it. Endless is going to win.
And this is the 34th race of the FTF Cup Series season. Following Las Vegas Motor Speedway, this is Homestead-Miami Speedway. And once again, we're going to see up to 43 guys going for the victory as the championship race intensifies. Last week at Las Vegas, we saw that Kevin King got the victory, locked himself in. First winner of the round of 8 to be locked into the championship. For still 7 guys going for 3 remaining positions, as we are going to get to the show in just a moment's time. As it stands, Brian Mercurio, Wyatt Tinsley, and Blake Reynolds are all in the round of 4, and it is a 20-point gap from Reynolds to Brandon Hawken in regards to getting that final transfer spot, with only 2 races following this one remaining in the season. It's Martinsville and Phoenix to cap off this season after our race here tonight. 400 kilometers of action here, and you can see the front row. 167 laps to decide this one. And we've got the 95 Toyota Camry of, I believe, Parker White there on the inside line, and beside him, Michael Cozy Jr., as we are double filing already, getting started with the procedure here tonight. And coming down on a pit road for the first time tonight, it will be the iRacing pace car, and we'll be led by the car number 95. It is green for the first time here in Homestead, and we are underway, lap 1 in this 167 lap event. And going through the first 2 turns right now, looks like White's got a decent advantage. And now it's going to be McAdams in the 26. Kevin McAdams, he is 6th in the championship standings right now, looking for a great race here tonight. And he's down on the inside line with Cozy just beside him. All the way so far, it has been Parker White leading by just about a half car length, and he will be your leader for this first lap. Still a lot of time to get to the lead, and Kevin McAdams pouncing early. Cozy falling through the pack so far, already down to the 6th position. Still side by side, upper range of the pack. Side by side for the lead now. It's going to be McAdams and Parker White, and it looks like we're going to see Malik Ray go for it 3 wide there. Ray just about gets it according to the view we've got here, and it is side by side, even still, with the 04 machine of Baston just beside the 73 of Cook. And there we go. Wyatt Tinsley now in the top 5. And leading the way, it is Kevin McAdams over Malik Ray and Michael Cozy back in the 3rd position. Double file, and it looks like Cozy's going to get a good run there. Puts himself in 2nd for now. It is a Mustang and a Camaro, 1st and 2nd at the moment, and there is another Mustang of Malik Ray just behind Cozy. Goes down to the inside once again, already seeing some grooves forming in on the racetrack right now. Cozy running a little bit higher, and the remainder of the field seems to be using the lower line to their advantages. Parker White now falling back into 6th as the race is on its way now. Cozy, our new race leader, getting it from Kevin McAdams. This is crucial because Cozy is 136 points behind the cut line going into tonight's event. He's going to have to win if he wants to make his way in easily, and there's a maximum of 250 points up for grabs tonight. 200 points for a win, and that would put him in immediately, of course, locking himself in, but then there's 50 extra points on display, and if he's able to get them, we'll see. He might just be able to make his way into the championship. Looks like we've just gotten past the 4th lap on 2. Homestead, and led by Cozy. Got one car down on the apron right now. Not sure what's going on there, as 99 is on his way. McAdams in 2nd. Far and away, Cozy's got an advantage of now just about a 2nd with Wyatt Tinsley in 3rd. And now it looks to be a battle for 3rd position with Parker White there in the 5th spot. And in between them, it is the 73 Malik Ray now in 5th. And how about that? Double file now for the 3rd spot. And Tinsley down to the inside. Apologies. We got some extra communication here. Derek, thank you for stopping by. And I'm going to allow you to go from here.
Yeah, of course, David. Welcome in the broadcast, everybody. We're watching a great race here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Of course, this is in the playoff hunt as we are. You see those drivers in yellow on the side of your screen. So you see here we got Cozy Jr., McAdams, Tinsley, and others fighting it out here. So great race, a long race here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, David. So lots can still happen, and lots of strategies are going to play out as the night goes on.
Certainly strategy going to come into the equation. Fuel, the tank set to 65%, so it won't last throughout any of the stages, and our stages will be at lap 50 and lap 100 respectively. So we will have stages, but we won't have stage cautions, especially in point where these guys are going to have to think like it's a full-on race. Of course, bonus points are on the line, but are you going to go for stage points to perhaps just get a little bit of a points cushion? Maybe Kevin King could afford that, maybe Mercurio in 2nd in points could, but the rest of these guys, they're just going to have to go for that checkered flag, and that's where their strategy is going to lie in, as we can see a lot of double file action here just behind the top 5 and now 6th. The Parker White, the last guy single file.
Yeah, David, you bring up a valid point between the points and the strategies and the spots you are, where you have drivers such as Nate Stewart, who's, well behind the cut line at this point. They need to take big swings tonight. They might go for stage points to see if they can make up some space, but maybe if you are, in 2nd in points, maybe you don't want to do that. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out here. Get a car loose.
Oh, we got a big moment there, and it looks like it's going to come up the track. Nobody else hits, but that is your first caution, and that would have been a much worse incident if everyone wasn't able to avoid it. That was Philip McCandless there, and that was an antsy moment. Not sure if anyone else got involved after that. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's got involved from your Yankee 600 winner from a few weeks ago. That's Philip McCandless. That was great. You're not supposed to be able to save it and not get hit like that. Let's wait for the replay here and see what happened. But, wow, that was incredible by Philip here to mostly save that. Here you go, David.
You're right about that. Coming down, it was about 3 wide there, and Philip, he got touched, slides it, and everyone able to avoid it. That was a really close call on the high line, and taps the wall, maybe a little more than a tap for certain, but gets it back underway, and nobody else appeared to be hit. We're going to take a look at it again one more time. Here's the onboard from Philip McCandless. Or my apologies, not from McCandless.
This is well behind the record. Oh, man, that's close.
Wow. And you can see Johnson Oates just behind, checked up as well. And McCandless avoided by, it looks like, the entirety of the field. The worst offender when it comes to damage was McCandless, and nobody else seems to be horribly damaged as the night is getting underway. Lap 10 to 167 so far. Michael Cozy is your race leader. And this is the race for the championship at stake. Looks like the top two drivers are going to go in, and that's Kevin McAdams. And both of those drivers who were in the top two are 6th and 8th in the championship. Cozy in 8th and McAdams in 6th. So thinking about the long run here, getting the fuel refilled and betting on the chance of, a long run, getting to the stage, perhaps getting some bonus points there, and of course going for the checkered flag. It's do or die here in the round of 8 in this championship, and only so much time to see whether or not they're able to make it to that round of 4.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pit strategy play here. This will probably put you in the stage, which is what these guys are looking for, to be able to get those stage points and be able to, take that swing and see what happens here. Of course, that's the Altus Esports machine here, that blue and orange. You said Kevin McAdams behind him. So this will be our first interesting decision of the night. Lap 11, and we're already pitting. I would want to think for some drivers, maybe this wasn't their time to pit. Of course, we're going to see some who didn't. We're going to have to kind of wait and see how this plays out. And if those tires and if those gas makes a difference, it's our first mystery of the night, David.
You're right about that. First mystery of the night. And another mystery, did those guys who came down pit road besides the top two take tires? We do have a tire set limit in effect tonight. And we're not sure the specific number at the moment. I believe it is around 4. Similar to the real life standards of tire limits, it is going to be interesting to see whether or not those guys came down and got tires early after they just went for fuel. A very short run to start tonight's event, but you can't help but imagine the guys fighting for the championship were pushing at their hardest. Parker White, who was on the pole position, is down in 15th right now, and that is the Kane Cook machine leading the way at the moment. Kevin McAdams in 14th and Cozy in 13th. So it looks like a good majority of the field did come down pit road. Wyatt Tinsley as well looks to be down in 12th there, and only a few guys have stayed out. We got Matthew Zwack, we got David Cabrera, we've got Kane Cook in the lead, I believe. As you can see, that is it's not the 73 machine, looks like the 13. A little bit harder to read there on the ticker. And a good majority of these guys, nonetheless, came down pit road. And this is going to be our first time to see the choose cone here in Homestead.
Yeah, so in this track here, they're going to use turn 3 to be the choose line for where they want to start, inside, outside. And race control is going to take those decisions to be their decision for where they're going to start. Just like real life NASCAR, if you hit the choose cone, Justin Malillo has announced he will put you to the back of the field.
That is a place you don't want to be. 43 incredibly competitive drivers here tonight in the heat of a very, very close title battle. And we do have an Owners' Championship at stake here. Kevin King in the number 29, top of the charts in the Drivers' Championship, and he is top of the charts in the Owners' Championship, but he's only 58 points ahead of Blake Reynolds for that Owners' title. Reynolds, 4th in driver points, is 2nd in owner points, and it's a very, very marginal gap there in the Owners' standings because it's a 58-point gap to Mercurio in the drivers for Blake Reynolds, but in the Owners, it's right up to Kevin King. It's a little bit of a difference when it comes to the driver to owner standings. Brandon Hawken in 5th in the championship standings right now. Kevin McAdams 6th. Stewart in 7th. And Michael Cozy is in 8th. And a good majority of these guys who are in the round of 8 have won. Tinsley, McAdams, and Cozy, they have not. Looking for an upset victory tonight. The likes of McAdams and Cozy, as you saw, running a different strategy. But of course, the likes of Wyatt Tinsley looking for a first win on the season. Already double file right now. It's going to be Cook up to the high side and Zwack down to the low side. So already some choices in a line as the groove begins to form here in Miami.
Just a quick note on those points before we go green. Blake is not here tonight, Blake Reynolds, so he will take provisional points tonight. So he's a must-win next week for Martinsville. Here we go, David. They're green.
Big wheel on the inside line there for Zwack, and that's going to get some guys all out of shape. Cozy's out of shape there for just a moment as we see someone in the back gets really, really wiggly. Cozy did as well, but he's on his way, and we are green again, led by Cook. Matthew Zwack down into the 3rd position. David Cabrera into 5th, and already a very, very big shuffle in the point standings at the moment. Of course, seeing all these guys going back and forth in the racing standings is going to lead to some changes in the points. It's going to be Cozy in 13th right now, fighting with Nate Stewart in 12th. And at the moment, it is a single file outlook all the way out front, as it's side by side for third with Zwack on the inside. Looks like he's not going to be able to hold on there as the high line is coming in.
Yeah, the high line is going to come in. See Cozy, of course, right in the high line all the way through those corners. Most drivers will tell you they want to be on the bottoms. It feels like the car's a little more stable down there. But you might save more tires in that higher line. So this is a multi-groove racetrack, David. There's not, well, there are wrong choices, but this is not a single lane racetrack. We're going to have to go and wait and see what happens.
Absolutely, looking to wait and see. It is now 10 o'clock on the East Coast and 16 laps through. Looks like we're seeing some upset drivers all the way up front. David Cabrera is up into third so far and chasing down the top two. It's a 3/10 battle between your podium position drivers so far. Wyatt Tinsley up into fifth. Cozy's already gotten himself into the top 10. A nice move on the outside there as he's going to put it up to eighth and now try to go for seventh as he's ripping the high side. He's a little bit blocked there by the ticker, but there he goes, getting a monster run. He's going to be putting himself in a good position, now chasing Zwack for sixth. This might be the night for Cozy to break through, get his first win on the season, and what a time it will be if he's able to get that done. This is the most important time for him to win all season long, and he's living up to it early. There's a big wiggle there. Is it going to be saved? Yes, it is, or no, it isn't. We've got a spin on the racetrack.
And we got to spin though, but off racing surface, so unless something bad happens here, race control is likely to leave this green. So this is just going to be a car well behind the field here. That is the 6th car here. So we're to get him moving. We stay green, and we're good to go.
An unfortunate circumstance there for Spencer Ray in the 6th. Just got really wiggly there as Cozy chased him down. Might have been contact, might have been just the air there. As you could see that Cozy riding the quarter panels of the drivers he's getting behind as he's going to go down on David Cabrera the exact same way. He's going to try to make the move happen there side by side with Cabrera and looks to go side by side with Parker. If he's able to do so, very, very big for his championship chances. They're double file for the lead right now. It looks like Cook is still holding on.
Yeah, this is a good example of how great tires can be in the first start of a run, though, David. Cozy, of course, took those tires, was the first person in to do so, and watch him now on the outside about to make that pass. And look how much more comfortable he looks through the corners.
Absolutely not squirrely at all. Michael Cozy back out front. He had a little bit of a wiggle going into the restart, but he's already driven back through the field with force. And now he's just about half a second up in just a half lap's time. Very impressive there for Cozy. And it looks like a driver who copied his strategy, and Kevin McAdams not able to do the same thing. Although we might be thinking maybe Cozy took some tires and is looking for, as we have a second caution, some stage points. Big incident, multi-car, and that is the 29 of Kevin King.
That is Kevin King. Of course, Kevin King was, I think, the car we saw earlier who made the contact with McCandless, and that is we'll have to wait and see what happened here with that boosted car. I'm going to wait for the traffic to pass by and get it turned around. But caution is out for the second time, David, this evening, and we'll wait and see maybe who comes down pit road this time about 10 laps later. Here we go. Here's the replay.
And then we're going to be showing you Kevin King on the screen. One last.
Oh, it's actually well ahead of him. Kevin King was not the cause of that. He actually got caught up later by some collateral from the wreck that happened ahead of them. So that was much different than what we thought on the replay. Let's see it again here. That contact on the front straight. Oh, spins that car. Sorry, spins that car to the outside.
Hey, right about that, Kevin King involved as a result of an incident just in front of him, and very unfortunate, but he won last week, so it won't mean all too much. Still, not looking like a good night to win for the driver of the 29.
Yeah, luckily for Kevin King, he does have that win from last week at Vegas. Cozy faked him out. Cozy did not pit. Now, it's going to be questionable, though, David. Look at that line. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars at least in that line. Now, maybe Cozy's going to suffer the same fate that he put on others, but I was going to say Kevin King luckily has that win from Vegas last week, so he's locked into the round of 4 despite any issues.
Right about that, locked into the round 4. It is very, very important to have that cushion, and it's going to lead him to have some time to prepare for Phoenix as a result. Michael Cozy is your race leader right now, and it looks like no contest from the drivers behind him. But if you guys did go to pit road, as we saw on your screen, and it looks like, as it stands, Kevin McAdams has cycled back up into 6th. And as far as we are aware, that is going to be your pit cycle. We're going to be throwing into a quick break. As the pit cycle has concluded, Michael Cozy is your race leader. We are back. Michael Cozy, still your race leader here, chosen the high side, as we are going to return to the action in just a lap's time. The choose rule in effect here tonight as you enter the 3rd turn. There is a line they're using to determine where you're going to be starting, and it looks like Cozy choosing the high side once again. A lot of speed coming out of that 99 machine as we're just about halfway through our first stage with the Kevin McAdams machine behind him now in the 3rd spot. Ryan Narwaki in 4th in the 113 machine, rounding out the top 5 as Matt Spalding is in 6th. Malik Ray now back into the top 10, and it looks like the Wyatt Tinsley machine in 10th is there as well. Jonathan Oates in 12th. Cabrera is in 13th. So a lot of drivers and a lot of names here in the top 15. Looks like Philip McCandless in 26th now, so not dead last following his first caution incident. Might be able to get back into the play for some mid-pack points. But as it stands, Pace Car has dived in, and we are green again from Homestead. Cozy's got the major jump there, and nobody else is able to keep with him, with the exception of Kevin McAdams. And going through the first 2 turns there, Cozy now has a half a second advantage over McAdams, and the remainder of the field is in quite the battle. 3 wide there. That is for 5th. Narwaki looks to be in the middle of it. Spalding there as well. And it looks like Wyatt Tinsley's gotten into it. It's 3 wide down on the bottom as we are going into lap number 26. Double file now. Everyone's going to slowly but surely file themselves out. But as it stands, it's very, very intense going into the early segments of this one, getting to the first stage. stage. We're almost there. Looks to be Cozy now with an almost 1 second advantage over rival in the championship for Kevin McAdams. And the 8th place driver in the points is looking to move himself all the way up to second. If he's able to get this one through, 3 wide up there. We got one of the wall. That looks to be David Cabrera.
Yeah, it does look to be Cabrera. I mean, obviously this jump by Cozy here on this start, David, is a great start. It's due to the fact that the drivers behind him weren't ready for the restart. It didn't look like. So this is great news for Cozy, who's far back in the points and needs to get every point possible. Now, what will happen here is we see these tires begin to wear and we see people get more comfortable. We'll see how long it takes before they run him back down.
Absolutely. Right now, nobody seems to be catching the driver, the 99 machine. It looks like Tinsley getting up to third, and Kevin McAdams fading back. It looked early on like those two, the 26 and the 99, had a similar amount of magic in those machines, but Cozy is not worn out just yet. He's fighting hard for every single point he can get. If he's able to hold on to lap 50, that's just another set of bonus points, and if he holds on to the end, he's locking himself into the final race showdown in Phoenix. And of course, that's where he wants to be as a driver, fighting for the championship. And unfortunately for him, he's just about a race behind in the Owners Championship. That 99 machine, 246 points back in Owners. But right now, I think to him, winning that driver's title is all that matters, as it looks like Wyatt Tinsley right now pulling a gap over the remainder of the field as well. He's just about a half second away from the battle for third, as we got 4 wide for just a moment. Now it's down to 3 wide, and it looks like it's going to be Bassin there, the 04, getting the best of them. But only for now. The battle rages on as we see one get wiggly in the back.
Yeah, a great pack of racing we got here to see guys going 3 and 4 wide, really making use of this multi-groove racing, David, and to see how comfortable everyone is right now early in this run, and they're going to sort it out here. Now this line up top has got a good run, so drafting is not the main key at Homestead-Miami Speedway, but you will feel some effects of it as a driver. If you get in a big line like that, you'll feel like you can pass a low line who looks unorganized at the moment.
Absolutely not the type of track like Daytona, 2.5 mile super speedway there. This is in the same state, but it is Miami. It's a 1.5 mile track, so the drafting won't be as extreme, but you'll certainly notice it, and that's why some of these guys in the middle of the pack who might have worn themselves out are having just a bit of a harder time passing the guys who are all around them on the inside line. And it looks like Cook is gonna box out the driver of the 72 there in Parsons, and double file once again. It looks like a lot of battling with different grooves right now, but most of these guys are still on the inside line, 31 laps through, and this is the longest stint we've had so far, so maybe things are going to change in the near future, but as it stands, it's Cozy with a 0.7 of a second lead. Tinsley might be reeling him in here, Wyatt Tinsley, as he is in the championship fight as well. A win would be great for him, but absolutely necessary for the driver who leads this one. As you can see, it's going to be Parsons ripping that high line, the remainder of the field not able to copy him, but they're certainly boxing him out, although it looks like the box might have just been cleared by a quick moment there, maybe a bumper's worth, not risking it. As you can see, look at how high Parsons is there. Look at that. All the way up to the wall using that grip strip, and that's the most effective way to go about it. If you can line it up perfectly like what we just saw, you're going to get a monster run. And as you can see, the driver of the 72 up to 11th now, moving slowly but surely into the fight for the top 10. 3 wide there with 2 drivers just below him.
Now, of course, the story of the race right now, for me, is your leader. It's because of the points he's making up. Cozy's making up points right now. If you look at the drivers who are behind the cut line, I know we showed the graphic earlier, it's Nate S. Stewart, Kevin McAdams, and Brandon Hawkins. And then Blake Reynolds not here tonight. He will take provisional points. He will get last place points in this race. So a big chance for at least for Cozy to make this a race next week in Martinsville. Because right now, before tonight, he was 136 points behind the cut line, David.
And absolutely, and when we talk about the cut line, Brandon Hawkins looking to have a great night in his own right, because the driver just in front of him in points is out of this one, so might be able to leapfrog in by default, so long as he doesn't finish next to last. But as it stands, it looks like Hawkins having a great night so far. He's in the top 15, still some room for improvement, but it's the early going right now. You don't want to go full out if you're going to be fighting for a title and risk it in a wreck. So far, None of our championship hopefuls have been involved in a wreck. As you can see there, it's Cook running the high side, fighting for the top 5, and now he's just behind Malik Ray. How about we take it on board with the driver of the 7 machine and Malik Ray? So it looks like a battle is going to be brewing right now. And there we go, on board with Ray, just gets past there. As you can see, the momentum carrying the driver of the 13 there, and Malik's just going to have to fight back and see. He gets just a bit of a toe, and he's going to be carried into the inside line. But it looks like right now he might just be being chased down by both drivers on both lanes. As you can see, it's going to be Perry and the driver of the 31 machine in David Cabrera fighting. And they're side by side right now, Cabrera and Perry. But it looks like David Cabrera are going to go to the inside there and just about sideways. And it looks like now he's going to be able to make it maybe clear, but not going to happen this time by. No momentum. Cabrera fighting hard. He is just about in the top 5. He's able to clear him this time by. He might be able to do so, but it looks like Malik Ray gets it back on David. And that is going to be the battle we're going to be watching for the remainder of this segment, because it looks like it's about 4 guys in a bundle as we wait to see whether or not there's a battle for the lead. Right now, Tinsley reeling in slowly but surely. It's David Cabrera, though, fighting the hardest on Malik Ray. It's going to be double file just below Ray. A very, very big block there for the driver of the 31 to fight off Matthew Zwack. And Zwack watching and waiting. Maybe something's going to go on between Ray and Cabrera. But as it stands, nothing has happened just yet. And Matthew Zwack has entered the race.
Matthews back here to see Malik Ray still holding on that car pretty well with that beautiful JDR graphics machine trying to run him down, and oh man, they're just gonna get almost together and they're both gonna hold on to it. This is a tricky track. It's not hard for the car to get loose here. We've seen guys kind of getting the back end loose around already. It's gonna keep happening as these tires wear off. But yeah, good race here. And then the question you start to have as we're looking at this battle here is Malik Ray holding people up? And it looks like maybe some people are finally getting impatient here and going to try to make a move behind him.
Absolutely. Zwack had to go down to the inside of David Cabrera, but right now the battle for the lead is under 0.2 of a second. Michael Cosley hanging on, but just hardly, as Wyatt Tinsley making the move all the way up front. As we can see that the leaderboard are showing the interval between the top 2 drivers is shrinking slowly but surely. Maybe we can take a look at that right now, as Cozy now has just about a 10th advantage side by side between Zwack and Malik Ray nonetheless. And it looks like Zwack has the momentum on the inside line, carried by David Cabrera. But Cabrera going to swoop to the inside for just a moment. They're side by side for the lead right now. Look at him go. It's now going to be the Wyatt Tinsley machine leading the way. Michael Cozy gets the run off the high side, and he barely leads the lap. But it looks like Tinsley might just have the cards to beat in the long run. These two both have a 3-second advantage nearly over the remainder of the field.
And this is a great run here. Tinsley, of course, now got ahead of Cozy, as he said here, as we're on lap 40. Both these guys here are towards the lower end of the playoff standings, so they're going to try to both make a move here and see if they can gain some points. Got a beautiful amount of racing going on in this track. This is a racetrack that's going to provide a lot of exciting moments tonight, David. But yeah, this might be finding the tire effects of Cozy not pitting, coming back to roost, so to speak.
Absolutely, and now as it stands, it's going to be Wyatt Tinsley leading the playoff drivers. So those who are not ineligible for the championship, those who are of course eligible for this run in the race. Cozy in second out of all of those drivers, and it looks like now Brandon Hawken in the top 10 for the first time tonight. Then Nate Stewart up to 11th, and Brian Mercurio is in 12th right now. So Mercurio is losing points big time to Tinsley. Tinsley might be able to make this a second place night in the point standings if he doesn't already move up to first, because he's having a great night tonight and seems to be the star of the field, with Kevin King out of this one already. Looks to be a major chance to get up to the top of the drivers charts with not only a win but a solid night overall. We're coming to our first stage at lap number 50. No caution, so stick around as the racing will continue after our points are tabulated side by side. And it looks like David Cabrera is still fighting hard with the Malik Ray machine.
Yeah, they still are trying to battle with Malik here, see if they can get around him. He's doing a beautiful job with holding his line. He's not blocking, not so much in the way, but we'll wait and see. Eventually, they're going to not want to wait anymore. As you see, there's a little bit of wiggle there on the front straight from the cars behind Malik Ray, and we'll have to see if they can get around him here.
Absolutely. Malik Ray seems to be a little bit loose there time and time again, but this is the longest run we've had, and I believe we have passed the 20 lap mark in this run now by a little bit further than 5, 6, 7 laps, and these tires are starting to feel the effects of it. Homestead-Miami here, a very tricky track, as you got to be precise every lap, no matter if you're on the inside line or the outside, and Malik might be feeling the effects of that. See a little bit of a bobble there. David Cabrera, seeing none of that from his car, is going to dive down on Ray and make the move to the inside line, and that JDR graphics machine is putting Malik to the test, and it looks like he's going to get him that time by. It's double file, 2 rows back. Cabrera, the leader of this miniature pack.
Yeah, finally he has made the pass. Took probably 5, 6, 7 laps, it felt like, to make it happen. Now,
but here comes the 99 of Hawken. How about that? Brandon Hawken going to take him 3 wide there, and it looks like he's going to get both of them in a very, very nice pass. A lot of room given by every driver, and Hawken gets through. He's now in 6th. He's on a warpath.
Yeah, Hawken doesn't feel like he has the time to wait. He, of course, is one of those drivers who needs every point tonight for the playoff cut line. And he took a chance, and look how different Malik Ray feels up there, David. Look how a little more uncomfortable he feels, a little slower he feels. It's a much different Malik Ray. Now you know where his preferred line is. It's not the top line.
Absolutely, he's trying something new, trying to give these guys a little bit more of a challenge. Right in the low line, he was pressured out of it, so right now trying something different to be just a little quicker. Well, a driver like Brandon Hawken, and we saw that he was below the top 15 when we started this run. He's all the way up to 6, and he is charging through the field as Ray is going to take another position down, as Nate Stewart now coming up on the driver, the 7 machine. Nate Stewart needs every point he can get, 76 points back on Kevin King. And King, of course, locked in, so really fighting with Brian Mercurio for the transfer spot here. Or, of course, the driver like Blake Reynolds 4th in the points, fighting with all those guys not locked in yet. But Nate Stewart still not having a great time out here. He's still just looking for every single pass he can get. Malik Ray falling back now, almost 5.5 seconds behind our leader of Wyatt Tinsley, as we're only a few laps away from our first stage of the night.
You know, I had a chance to talk with Nate Stewart before the race, and we kind of talked about this race tonight and what it meant to him. He said his quote tonight was simple: "I need points. I need points to cover myself for Martinsville," is what he said to me when we talked about it. You know, he said this car gets loose at about 15 laps. He wasn't happy with it, but simply, "I need points." That was the quote from Nate Stewart in pre-race tonight.
And he's absolutely going to be correct about that statement. Getting these points is going to be crucial. If he wants to win, he's got to change up the strategy. It looks like he has a good car here tonight. 10th of course, 43 drivers, but he's still got a lot of guys quicker than he is. Talk about Tinsley, talk about Cozy, as we see one driver coming onto pit road right now, and that looks to be the 6 machine there. And that is going to be our first pit stop of the night under green, I believe. That's not for damage, and that is Spencer Ray in the 6th, as Wyatt Tinsley leads the way over Michael Cozy. And there is a nice rip in the high line there, and that is just about the battle for 4th, as Matthew Zwack getting up to the driver of the 04 machine there. Wow.
That was super high. That's hard for a driver to do, by the way. That looks really great in a camera shot, and whether it be in virtual racing or real life racing. See if he does it again here. He's going to hit the low line here, but they're going to come up out of the corner, get right up there against the wall. That is hard to do. It's hard to have that confidence to know you're not going to scrub the wall when you do that. And watching here, yep, through this corner, you see someone else already did it earlier. There was that black streak across that wall, and there's another one. So either he or someone else has already done it, but that's a great skill to be able to do that. It gives you a lot of speed to be able to get out of those corners if you can ride the wall that high, or ride up against the wall that high, pardon me.
And absolutely, we're seeing the onboard camera there, and it looks like Matthew Zwack having a hard time keeping up here. But running that high line, if you do it perfectly, you get a huge momentum boost. Zwack going to do it one better on the inside line that time by, but watching the precise movements, it takes a lot of handwork and a lot of concentration. Diving down to the inside line, Zwack does again. It looks like a little bit of a bobble there. He's in the wall. Wow, it looks like he's going to lose a lot of momentum there, and maybe just another position. Maybe some minor damage as well. Not good at all. As you can see, that's the demonstration of what you don't want to do, fighting for position so high up.
Now you can see, we talked earlier about how, Malik Ray did not feel comfortable up there. Apparently he does, because he is just staying up there. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a one lap, one corner thing. That appears to be his home up there. And look how comfortable he is. He's got that car settled in. It's not wiggling too hard. So that obviously is where he feels most comfortable, David.
Absolutely. Looks like he's proved us wrong on that regard, but it looks like the first stage is over as well. And leading the way through the first stage, it is Wyatt Tinsley. That's going to be a nice set of bonus points that he's going to want to take in. And it looks like he's going to be able to do just that. First stage is over. We're now through into the second, and lap 100 will be the conclusion of that second stage. 20 points for a stage victory, and they're going to go to the Wyatt Tinsley machine. And he's led a lap so far, so he has at least 25 bonus points racked up as the race is already on its way. Michael Cozy has at least 5 points racked up as he has led laps tonight. But he's getting really squirrely there, and looks like he's going to be passed by not one but two drivers. Matthews whacked with a toe there, and it looks like Brian Mercurio going to pull him right through. Mercurio already second in the standings, looking to get into the first spot. He's second right now, but if he gets the victory, he'll be putting himself all the way up on top by a wide margin, as he's more than secure into the next round so long as he keeps himself on the track.
Yeah, you mentioned the points. Of course, we said coming into it, Brian Mercurio was second, Wyatt Tinsley was third in points, and Blake Reynolds was fourth, but he's not here. And so you have to think Brandon Hawken and Kevin McAdams are essentially fighting for Blake's spot in this race. So that's really something to watch tonight. There's coming into this race tonight, before the stage ended, there was a 11-point difference between Hawken over McAdams. You have to think as the race goes on, we got a pitter, that that's going to be where it's going to sit.
Absolutely. Mo Perry in the pit lane right now with the Skull Bandit throwback there, but it looks like the pit cycle already underway for some drivers in the upper echelon of the leading pack. Brian Mercurio, we see him up front now, and Kevin King being out gives a major opportunity for these guys to snag the top seed going into the final race in Phoenix. Mercurio in second right now. Not yet, actually, my apologies. He's just about 4 seconds back on our leader, but Wyatt Tinsley still leading strong as Cozy. We're seeing his bobbling just a bit. If we're able to get a camera shot of Cozy, that would be amazing. How about we go on board, though, with the driver of that 99 machine, because it looks like right now he's all sorts of uncomfortable. Maybe shades of Malik Ray, as Malik Ray is going to pass him there for ninth.
So we have to think now, as we're riding on board here, this is a great shot here, great camera angle by our producer Zach Johnson, that pit stops are probably about to begin. That was a long pit stop there by Parker that we saw come in there solo, a 27-second stop. So I'm not sure what that was all about, but that was a long stop. So I would think it's not too long from now, though. Remember, it's been 30-ish laps since our last caution. Some of these guys will be begging for new tires and be excited. So I think it's not too long before we see our next set of pit stops happen, though, David.
Absolutely, it's going to be Tyler Gary and Nate Stewart, and now Kevin McAdams passing. It's a 3-for-1 in one turn, and it looks like Cozy is running into some trouble, as it looks like his championship rivals have all passed him. He's now very, very far back when it comes to the drivers in the round of 8. He seems to be one of the final drivers in position, as he's down to 12th in the race so far. He's going to have to pit it very soon if he wants a chance to bounce back. Might have to just be praying for a caution here, as he's losing pace big time. It might be some fuel, it might be some tires, it might be a combination of both, but as the night is going on, it looks like it's not favoring the driver of that 99 machine. We actually have two 99s in the round of 8 right now, and the one that's doing better is Brandon Hawken. He looks to be just about 2/10 off. Is a big slide there, and it's going to be saved. So as the race goes on, green flag. We've got two 99s as Michael Cozy, one of them, is down on pit road. Let's see what he does here. And Cozy coming down onto pit road, the driver of the 99 machine facing some trouble, hoping not to go a lap down here. It is just about a 30-second lap around with these next gens. He's going to be taking 4 tires and certainly going to be taking some fuel as the leaders are coming up to him. The lead pack definitely got by him, and that's going to put Cozy down a lap, with Wyatt Tinsley still leading the way over the remainder of the field. Caution is out.
We'll have to wait and see where Cozy lines up here. That's the 44 car to the inside wall, but we're going to wait and see if Cozy got it out in time. I'm not sure what to wait and see here, David. That's Joseph Armstrong was in that inside wall. That's a wall famous to NASCAR fans for the finale with Carl Edwards a few years ago. But we'll have to wait and see what happened here.
And absolutely, and a Joe Gibbs-inspired Toyota involved in that one. It's Joseph Armstrong involved in the incident. We're getting an instant replay on the matter, and this might be catching Cozy out. Had he stayed out a lap, maybe he would have been on the lead lap. We're not sure whether or not he's going to have that lucky dog spot as is. It is time to see what just happened, and Armstrong looks like he lost it himself there. Very slow to tap the wall, and that's going to bring out our yellow. Let's watch it again. Goes up to the high line, and it looks like might have just gotten squirrely out. No! It was Nate Stewart who sent him there. And it looks like it's going to be Spencer Ray involved as well. Multi-car incident. Our apologies. It's going to be a 3-car incident, and it looks like it started with Nate Stewart. Stewart got bobbly. He tried to enter pit road. It looks like Kevin McAdams, wow, faked him out. Slid back up. Hits Armstrong. And hits Spencer Ray. Spencer Ray looks to be having a no good night. My apologies, that is not Spencer Ray. But either way, Joseph Armstrong involved in that one, and Nate Stewart got the worst of it.
Yeah, this is a difficult pit road to get onto here, so we're going to wait and see it again here. This is actually, sorry, this is live pit road we're watching right now.
As you can see, a lot of guys going through pit road. Michael Cozy has already done so. This might be able to be a saving race as he went down just the moment the caution came out. And this is Wyatt Tinsley we're watching. It looks like Parker White coming into his stall. He's got that pole position stall, but it looks like already out. It will be Tinsley, and then Cook, and then Joseph Armstrong back on his way. So very minor damage for Armstrong, and it looks like he's already ready to fight once more for that victory. Leader of the race appears to still be Wyatt Tinsley. Lap cars are staying out, and a lot of these guys must be unhappy with the way the cars were driving beforehand. You can see one car looks to be parked on the inside line, might just be getting out of the seat for just a moment. We're not sure what that is about. We're going to try to find out in just a few moments time. And it looks like pit cycle is over once again, and we're watching Wyatt Tinsley, who appears to be a race leader. We're going to be sending into break once more. And here we go, back again from break. You can see we got quite a few guys who have stayed out, and Wyatt Tinsley, not one of them. Leading the way beforehand, he is now mired in the middle of the pack. As you can see, there is the 20 machine on full display. We've got now, I believe, the pit cycle concluded, and on to the choose rule. Wyatt Tinsley still appears to be a race leader. My apologies on the scoreboard. Lap cars in front of him trying to get their laps back, with Kane Cook in second and Brian Mercurio in the third spot. And it's going to be Matthew Zwack, in 4th, and the 22 of Alex Kolonix in 5th. Then we got Malik Ray, Brandon Hawkins, Tyler Gary in the 04 machine of Dylan Basson. Philip McCandless has gotten from his early wreck to the top 10 tonight. Very impressive job there for the driver of the 109 machine. The triple-digit threat is on his way, on the move, and it looks like the 84 machine is in 11th, just beside him. That is Cosmin Ionesu. My apologies if I messed that one up, but Parker White is in 12th, and David Cabrera is in 13th with Nathan Rabadou in 14th, and it's going to be Michael Frisch in the 15th spot. Now, Michael Frisch has an important delegation when it comes to the point standings, as it's going to be him fighting for the Best of the Rest championship, the battle for 5th, and it looks like right now Michael Frisch leads the way by 770 points over Jonathan Oates for that title. Last year, Jonathan Oates was the FTF GNS Grand National Series champion, and he's having a great rookie season here in the Cup Series. And how about that for the driver of the 73, but of course the 58 leading that hunt. And we're going to see quite a few guys join that fight after next week in Martinsville. And it looks like right now, as it stands, Brandon Hawken will be leading that run if the point standings from last week were accurate. But Hawken having a great night, Mercurio having a great night, and the best night of them all so far appears to be Wyatt Tinsley. Tinsley leading the way so far in this one, and it looks like it could be his first win of the year. He got a stage win earlier on, just about 15 laps ago. If he gets the second, that's 40 bonus points to stack on wherever he finished. That's very, very important when 200 points are on the line for the race victory. And it looks like as it stands, we're not seeing Tinsley move up to the remainder of the pack, and the caution has been extended. We're going to try to get word on that.
Yeah, caution's extended. The race control is going to get some waiver rounds done and clean up some admin issues they needed to do. You made a great point about all the points available tonight. And of course, one of the biggest ones that stand out to me, well, one of them is, you got Hawkins in 7th right now, and Kevin McAdams is not currently on the ticker. He's racing, don't get me wrong, but he's way back. So with Blake Reynolds not here, that means right now, effectively, who sees what happens tonight, we'll wait and see. But Hawkins right now is basically put himself locked into that 4th spot going to Martinsville. That's the race between Hawkins and McAdams right now, with Blake Reynolds not here. So right now it would be Hawkins who should be safe, next week. As we see the choose rule happening here, or we see that's where they would be doing the choose rule, I should say.
When it comes to the point standings, Nate Stewart is effectively a non-factor tonight following his incident, and I believe that's going to take him out of the race entirely. It was a nosedive into the wall there, and he's 26th in the standings right now, but Kevin McAdams and Michael Cozy are still behind him. Still not a very good night. Michael Cozy, one more bad night is going to really take him out of this one, and he had a very good start, very nice launch, every single restart, but in the long run, this looks to be the car to be in the 20 machine with Kane Cook now beside. It's going to be two titans of this race fighting once more. But how about Brian Mercurio racing his way back up front, and this is the highest we've seen him all race, and Matthew Zwack, who's been fighting in the top 5 or the lower echelon of the top 10 for quite a while. He's up front now, might be able to do something as this race is going to get underway in just about a half lap's time.
Yeah, we're going to go racing again. We'll be in the middle of the 2nd stage as this happens. We're going to go green, I believe, at the start of 67. And so a couple updates here. I know you probably hit him, but Michael Cozy was considered a lap down when that caution came out. He has been given the waiver round because everyone pitted ahead of him. So he's going to be at the tail end of the longest line here on this restart. So once the leader, and now he's going to have to prove himself and find his way all the way back through. And that's not good news for someone who needs every point in every spot possible tonight.
Absolutely, that's going to be quite the tough asking for the driver of the 99 machine, but we've seen him do incredible things before. Maybe he can do them again. Pace car is off, and we are going to get back to the action here in Stage 2. Wyatt Tinsley leads the way, and we are green again at Homestead. And they're through wide just about in the bottom half of the top 10 there. Philip McCandless might be involved in that one, but it's double file up front with the remainder of the top 2 not involved. It's going to be Kane Cook in 2nd and Wyatt Tinsley in 1st, as they're going to go 3 wide, and it looks like it's going to be Kolonix going 3 on Matthew Zwack. Makes it work on Malik Ray as well. and Ray going to be fighting on the top side once more. Brian Mercurio up to fourth, almost 4 wide there. Looks like it was for a moment. And Malik gets pulled through. Whoa, big swerve there, and it looks like he made it just clear of both drivers and phases them out. This is for third now, and it looks like he's going to get them both 3 wide there on the inside line. Impressive move by Malik Ray. Risky, but nonetheless, he's on his way, fighting for the victory. It looks like that is his goal, and he's got the speed to prove he should be up there once again. Kane Cook, your new race leader tonight, and now Brian Mercurio fighting for the same honor.
And some of us on iRacing that might think that Risky is actually Malik Ray's middle name. He loves to race that way. He loves to push it all the time. You know, go for it is his mantra of how to race, but that's what happens in moments like that. But nice, beautiful racing here as we're seeing up front here. Lots of side-by-side racing. No one's, you know, doing anything too aggressive or too silly. And it goes all the way back through the field as we see double file racing, you know, spot by spot. Here's an onboard from Malik Ray, David.
And how about that? Malik Ray, you can see right now, is moving. He's using just a bit of a higher line compared to the 2 drivers in front of him in Mercurio and Colonix. But as it stands, he's fighting as hard as ever to keep up with them. And it looks like he's got the pace right now to do just that. Backs off just a little early going into the first turn. Is going to try to get a really, really good exit. As you can see, side by side, Colonix and Mercurio. Maybe for just a moment, as you got one ripping the high line in Dylan Bazin right there, side by side with Wyatt Tinsley, Matthews West just behind. And while it's single file action right now, with the exception of Tinsley and Bazin, it's still very close when it comes to these 2 drivers fighting one another. Dylan Bazin, my apologies there, as he's now in the 5th spot side by side with Wyatt Tinsley, and Malik Ray in the 4th spot is watching just in front of these 2 as Bazin looks to have the advantage over the remainder of the top 5. How about that? Those 2 double file. The fight is certainly not over.
No, the fight won't be over for a long time tonight. It's going to be a nice side-by-side battle here. So we're going to see here up front, you can see here that Alex Colonix is now going to try to get to the inside of Brian Mercurio and see if he can make something happen on the bottom as they both race down Cook here. I think he is going to make that pass now. Alex Colonix up to second.
And Colonix fighting with Kane Cook for the first time tonight. It looks like Tinsley is fading back, and as the day goes on, different cars seem to be rising up to the occasion. And while he's got those extra 20 bonus points, it's certain that Wyatt Tinsley would love to get this victory, so he's got to be continuing his fight. Michael Cozy is up to 20th right now, but still a long way to go as the race is just getting underway. Less than 100 laps to go already. We've gotten through the first 72. Tinsley backs it down to 6th, but it's going to be Colonix fighting with Kane Cook as the race goes on, and now it's going to be back bumper to the rear end, of course, the rear end to the bumper of the 22 machine. It's a 10th separating the top 2.
Yeah, it's probably a good time to remind our viewers here that this is a win and in scenario for the FTF Cup Series. So no matter any of those drivers in yellow, if you win tonight, no matter where you were in the points, no matter how many points you came in behind, ahead, whatever it is, your scenario is, you're guaranteed a spot in the championship 4. There's this race and next week at Martinsville. I doubt very few people want to risk Martinsville, a track that's known for danger and cautions and wrecks and damage and everything. Win tonight has got to be the goal for everyone, I would think, and whose names are on yellow on the left side of your ticker there. But that's how the rules work here. Win and you're in.
Absolutely. Nate Stewart, though, he's not going to be able to win. He's not going to be able to fight too hard at all, as that's going to be Colonix going to the inside line. And it looks like he's going to be able to get it on Kane Cook if he keeps the momentum going. Side by side, no contact. It's no give, no take, but it looks like they've got just enough room. And Cook keeps it going. Spencer Ray down in 40th, and it looks like it's still some of these guys fighting for the championship were all the way down. Looked like Kevin King down in 39th position. It's going to be a hard ask for Nate Stewart to get back into this one with all the damage that he got from that incident with Joseph Armstrong. As Mercurio in 3rd, still fighting hard for the positions that are just in front of him. They're side by side once again for the race lead, with Colonix doing the exact same maneuver. Might be able to get it with a little more success this time by, and that he does for now. Maybe he'll get him on the exit as Nate Stewart is in 30th. Side by side once again, Kane Cook's going to lead that lap.
Yeah, great job by Cook here. He's holding off Mercurio and is now what this will happen here this side-by-side racing, David, to allow for if they keep it up, and why they're going to back out of it is all that happens is you both lose a little bit of speed to the corners, neither one is comfortable. Next thing you know, you've let the whole field back in the race, and that's kind of what's already happened. They go side-by-side for not too much longer in these corners, and this whole field will be right there behind them, ready to pounce.
Absolutely, Michael Cozy up to 11th, 9 spots up since the last time we checked on the driver, the 99 machine. We can see him in the back of the screen right now. Seems to have an awful lot of pace in that car as he's worked his way through. He's now got a challenge in front of him. The best drivers, the best remaining drivers in the field. He's already up to 9th as we speak. He is moving on Dylan Bazin and already got past Parker White, our pole sitter. So it's going to be an intense fight for the remainder of the field here, and it looks like the driver of the 99 is ready to get involved. This is the Kick in the Tires 400-kilometer event, and this is the Kick in the Tires playoffs. And how about that? This is the quintessential playoff race. A lot of drama, a lot of high stakes, and the best drivers are rising up to the occasion. These playoff drivers are populating the top 10 in force. The top 8 has 4 playoff drivers as Zwack gets touched by Cozy, and Cozy keeps on going. Zwack as well, but they're certainly not going to be happy about that one. It looks like David Cabrera involved, but all 3 drivers keep it straight.
Yeah, and an important story to focus on. Look at that's Cozy. I mean, you said that, but that's Cozy. That's Cozy up in like P6, P7, David. Remember, he started at the back of the field after he pitted when the caution came out. He was a lap down and fought his way back up already. He is obviously eager to be in the front of the field tonight.
Absolutely, it is a win and you are in situation. He's almost practically mathematically out of this one, barring an incredible perfect race. And while Michael Cozy, one incredible driver, you can't expect for perfection out of any human being. But right now that victory is within grasp. He is making moves. He's up to 6th and he's faster than the drivers in front of him. Kolinix and Cook are wearing each other out, and Cozy from 26th position is going to be taking the top 5 spot for the first time in almost 50 laps. Impressive, but he's still got a few drivers to go through if he wants that victory in the second stage and the race.
Yeah, Cozy is an experienced iRacing driver, David. And obviously, he's here in the FTF series. He's a 2022 Road to Pro Round 2 driver. You know, he's had a lot of success in iRacing, so he knows what he's doing. He knows how to manage a car. Really not surprised to see Cozy doing so well, you know, in a race like this.
Absolutely, with the backing of Logitech that he has had for over a year and a half. 80 laps through. Michael Cozy is well known for being able to manage a car that is very dependent on the way it drives lap over lap. He won the Firecracker 400, the E-Racer Premier event a year ago. And this is a driver you can't count out of any situation. Cozy to 4th. He's got 3 more drivers to gnaw through if he's going to be able to get up to the lead. He's faster than all of them so far. Half a second to separate Cook and Cozy, with Kolinix and Mercurio acting as buffers as the race is just getting underway. Really, we're almost halfway through. And how about that? It looks like Logitech not sponsoring Altus Esports anymore. We saw it on the side of the car for Cozy, however, and while sponsorships are switching up, the town of Michael Cozy has not switched up just one bit. How about that for the driver of the 99 machine as he's beating the other 99 driver in Brandon Hawken just behind him. Looks like side by side for second now, at Mercurio in 3rd, now going for 2nd, and Cozy just waiting in the wings here. So it looks like he might have just bottled out. He only gained a 10th or so within the last lap and a half. Still very, very fast as Mercurio takes P2. Now going to try to chase down Kane Cook for the first time tonight.
Yeah, earlier you talked about how stacked this playoff field is, David. Look at it on the top, on the left side of your screen, that ticker, the yellow names, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them in your top 7. That shows how great the talent is and how deserving those playoff drivers are, that they're able to accomplish this. Now, what that does mean for all 7 of them, though, not a big points gain. If all of you are up there, you probably didn't gain that many points on anybody because you're all kind of jumbled in there together.
It looks like right now it's going to be a jumbled up mess for the driver of the 99 as Malik Ray gets through once more. Now down to 7th. Cozy is still an incredible charge, but he's falling back just a bit on that high line. He does not want to be there. He's just going to have to deal with it for now. 84 laps through with 167 as the total. Mercurio is going to get it on Kane Cook this time by. Nobody's able to take Cook off with the bottom line. Mercurio is trying to be the first to do just that. Looks like he's not able to do so effectively just yet. Mercurio wiggles, but Kane Cook doesn't. He leads the lap, but it looks like Brian might just have something under his sleeve to get his first victory in the round of 8 and his 6th all year. Brian Mercurio having quite the season so far. Low line racing, the 41 machine is 3rd in owners points and 1st in the drivers championship. Blake Reynolds not having the greatest of nights right now. He looks to be mired back in the mid-pack. We don't see him up front in the slightest. And with Kevin King out of this one and winning contention, at the very least, he's 35th on the drivers chart so far in this race. This might be the night to beat for Brian Mercurio to take the lead of the drivers and owners championships at once. He is hounding Kane Cook. He's on the rear end like they're linked up to one another.
Yeah, and of course for Mercurio, this would be a big night. This would secure his victory and secure his spot in the Final Four, so he doesn't have to worry about Martinsville. He would join Kevin King amongst that group, as you said. But he's doing a great job. He's being patient here. He's not pushing it too hard. And that's an important thing here because tires are such a commodity here that is needed at Homestead. It's okay to be patient here, but he's got it side by side now. And let's see what happens.
Side by side for Mercurio again, and he wants that victory almost just about as bad as anyone else here, maybe a little bit more, and it might be a little bit of a discredit to say he wants as bad as anyone else because right now he's showing he might just the most of anything. He's side by side there with Kane Cook once again inside line, and might not be the name of the game for the driver of the 41 machine trying to win that stage and put himself in contention for the remainder of the race. Looks like he lets off just a bit. Cook gets him that time by, but he looks to be dead even on pace despite the different line and a little bit of a hold off. Cook taking just a bit of the track away from him. Side by side, 80 laps the difference when it comes to the remainder of the field, or rather the remainder of the race compared to what we've seen so far. Mercurio is your race leader. He gets it that time by. As fast as Xfinity Internet right now, maybe a little bit faster. He's your race leader.
Yeah, so I mean, that's to point out here, it's kind of a fun fact. It may not mean the end of the race, David. That's the 2nd lap in a row. They were side by side at the line. That's the 2nd lap in a row. That 100th of a second was the gap between them for 1st and 2nd.
How about that? Showing how close these guys are on speed and talent. As we're watching Michael Cozy, David Cabrera, and a few other drivers with the likes of Parker White in frame and Michael Frisch in frame as well, as Cozy is now down into 10th position. And while he has climbed an incredible amount, it looks like right now he might be swallowed back once again. Be a saving grace in his strategy if he were to get another yellow. There is Brandon Hawkins in position now 6th in the standings. It looks like 7th is Parker White and might be able to make the move on the inside line. Now the outside Brandon Hawkins and White might be able to make it happen this time by. He's going to be side entering the first corner.
Yeah, look at this here. We are a few laps into this run now. I'd have to take a look at my stats here and see how far we are. We are about 25 laps into this run here since this started. So a good amount of run here. You'll see some guys who now the tires are going to start to play, how they're going to let up a little bit in their corners more than they were in the beginning. Number 3, you're wide. You're not supposed to do that. That is not how you get in there. That will cause a wreck. And thank goodness he backed out of that, David. That, that would not have went well.
Parker White looking for an aggressive move there. One of the youngest drivers in the field, and surely one of the drivers with the most raw talent. We've seen him a star in the iRacing scene at the moment. He wins just about everything he's in. He's gotten very good run in this series, but it looks like that was a very, very optimistic move and maybe a little over aggressive, but he so at the end of the day, nothing lost when it comes to drivers in the field who are fighting. But White not giving up just yet. He's in the top the first time since he started the race. Pole position. He's fighting like there's no tomorrow. Looks like we just had a little bit of a from the action, but he's fighting with Malik Ray as he saw the onboard shot from Ray looking right into the driver of the 95 machine, and they are just about a length away from one another. Wyatt Tinsley in third fighting with the Kane Cook machine, and Tinsley long run car is coming back to its peak. With 76 laps to go, that driver is built for the long run in the driver machine. He's just out of frame. Just a bit. Not too much. We'll see whether or not he's able to keep that fight going.
Yeah, what a good run here. You see, once again, Malik Ray's got Parker White behind him. As you said, Parker White is a star of the eNASCAR Road to Pro Series. And look at this 4-car battle right behind it. This is a good run here. This is going to be Hawken, Kolinix, Tyler Gary, and Zwack, I believe, are the 4 cars involved in this battle here. And what to wait and see is there going to be 3 wide, 2 wide, moving around, finding lanes. This is when you get a little nervous sometimes because there's one wrong move and you bring a yellow out. And of course, we've not had that in a while. We don't want to have it again. But we'll have to wait to see which of these 4 guys can find a groove, get in line, and get around each other.
Absolutely looking to find a groove. That is the way to go for every one of these drivers. Mercurio leads the way for Tinsley, but look at this. Tinsley's now within 0.3 of a second for your race lead. He was able to get it done this time by. It will be not necessarily a surprise, but it will be setting her up to sweep the stages as another long run is providing Tinsley the opportunity to fight for the race lead. They're almost side by side for that race lead as we see Brandon Hawken fighting with Tyler Gary right now in the midst of the top 5. Just behind the top 5 to be exact. 74 laps to go, and Tinsley is fighting as hard as it gets. Now it's a 1,500th difference for the lead of this race, and we're going to try to send the cameras over to that one as it looks like the battle is mellowed out over here, and the driver of the 20 machine fighting hard to get Brian Mercurio's spot, second and third in the championship respectively for Mercurio and Tinsley, and Tinsley's looking to make the leapfrog here tonight as he's just behind the driver of the 41.
So here, this is the battle now, as we were talking about, between Tinsley and Mercurio. And you see Tinsley's all over his back bumper to come out of 4 down to the start-finish line there. Boy, as a driver, from a driver's perspective for just a second, David, as a driver, this is nerves right now. You know you're battling someone. You know you're trying to take away a spot or gain a spot in the playoffs. You're trying not to make a mistake. You're on old tires. This is where the nerves can rattle you if you let them. You had to really just keep focused and make sure you don't make any mistakes here.
Absolutely, this is one of the most pressure-filled moments for any driver fighting for the championship, and one of your championship rivals is just beside you. 1/10, not even the difference anymore, as it looks like now it's going to be half a tenth, 500ths of a second, as Tinsley's going to go to the outside that time by, and the long run car is coming into form. If he's able to get that stage win one more time, he's going to usurp Brian Mercurio on points no matter where they finish, and unless Mercurio gets that victory, it's going to be really good for the driver of the 20 machine getting back up into the driver's championship swing of things. As it stands, 412 points out, the driver of the 20 is on owner's points, but only just about 26 odd points away from the driver of Mercurio in driver's standings, and these two are fighting to no end right now, but it looks like Mercurio might have the car to hold Tinsley off as the going gets into its final stages. 70 laps to go. We're almost up to the final stage of the night.
Now we're moving along pretty quickly here. In fact, we're so far into the race now, the ticker's counting down on laps instead of counting up. That's how you know we're nearing the end, is whenever you see that little magical changeover, David, when all of a sudden we're starting counting down the laps. We're 70 to go on the ticker. We're no longer counting up here. They're looking side by side for the lead here. And Mercurio, again, getting that preferred lane on the outside and is going to hold onto that lead here. But Tinsley's not going to let up. Now, as a driver, David, there's many ways how you can try to calm yourself, and we all do a different way. Some people, odd enough, like to listen to music when they're racing. I'm not capable of that. I think it's distracting, that I can't have that if I'll get caught up in the music. Some people watch TV on a separate monitor. Some people just don't want noise. They sit in a quiet Discord room. Some people sit in a Discord room full of friends and joke and laugh, and each driver has their own way, David, of calming themselves down in moments like this.
That's a very interesting point to make. As you can see, Mercurio side by side with Tinsley there, and both of them don't appear to be in voice chats here tonight. They don't even appear to be alone. They just don't appear to be in the chats at all, as Tinsley's going to take it with one lap until we hit that second stage's conclusion. They're all fighting for that extra set of points, 20 points, the difference there, and if they're able to get it here, it's going to be especially important for their championship run. Side by side, Mercurio and Tinsley, they're fighting like this This is the race victory. Coming down to it one more time. Looks like Tinsley's going to be able to lead that lap. And there we go. Second stage appears to be on its way. And it looks like we're on to the third. Tinsley side by side with Mercurio. And Mercurio gets a little bit slippery there, but he's still on his way. How about that? Tinsley gets it done once again. 67 laps, the difference, or rather the distance that remains in this one. Stage 2 winner, it's going to be Wyatt Tinsley, my apologies, with Brian Mercurio in second, Malik Ray in third, and Kane Cook in fourth. Then we have Tyler Gary, Parker White, Michael Frisch, Dylan Basin, and then it's going to be Brandon Hawken and Alex Kolinix rounding out your top 10, as that is how we rolled going into the final stage of events. Tinsley pulling away with that long run car, and it looks to be the optimal car for the long run as this race is getting into its final leg overall. Then it's going to be Brian Mercurio in second, and how about that for the driver of the 7, and Malik Ray, who's in third.
Yep. So for Tinsley, what that means, a lot of points for these stage wins. That's obviously a good news for them. It means a little bit more security for next week, even if they don't win, because that gap to fourth now will be bigger, especially with people fighting for it to take over Blake Reynolds' spot, who's absent tonight. So for Tinsley, it's not a guarantee. Nothing is, but it's a lot more comfort being able to win both of those stages. Good job to Wyatt Tinsley tonight.
Absolutely. That's going to be 45 bonus points stacked onto the driver of the 20 machine. A very, very good job. And as it stands, if he leads a good chunk of this third stage, he might be able to make that a 50-point bonus, getting the most laps led here tonight. He looks to be in good standing to do so long as he keeps it up in regards to his pace, and that alone would put him just about 70-odd points above the bubble as it stands. The battle, Blake Reynolds, Brandon Hawken, and Reynolds, of course, not in this race, so I believe it comes down to Brandon Hawken and Kevin McAdams. Hawken is not up there in the top 15, but Kevin McAdams is in 13th, with Cozy in 14th, with Michael Cozy falling back through the field once more. He's now down by 9 seconds as we have pit stops. Once again, that is one of the machineries in this race, and I'm not sure who that is right now, but we're going to try to find out, as it's going to be 2 tires and so far, maybe 4, as there are so many drivers that are going to have to predict when they're going to come down for strategy reasons, with Tinsley being one of them. Looks like a lap car down there on the low line. That's going to be the 49 machine. Don't think that Wyatt Tinsley is going to be too happy with the driver there, and I believe that is Reimer in the 49. And the remainder of the field is going to get by. It looks like a slight block there. Toyota on Toyota. Not happy that race leader must be.
Yeah, the first car you saw going down pit road, by the way, that was a 00 Justin Malolo you saw down pit road. Since then, Nathan Rabideau has also come down pit road. You know, I had a chance to talk to Nathan before this race started. All he said to me tonight was, you have to be able to manage the tires. You have to be able to manage them or you won't do well. So that's why he's going to come and get more tires. And here comes some more people down pit road, David.
And I believe that is going to be Michael Cozy just behind in the frame. There he goes, and Cozy looking to put on what might be his final set of tires with 62 laps to go in this one. And this might be the run that Cozy gets to put him into the chance at a victory. His strategy has to be perfect. He wants just that. But Tinsley has that long run car, but Brian Mercurio does as well. Mercurio seems to be a little more of a balanced car, as it looks like Brian's going to come down on pit road with Kane Cook. The remainder of the field follows, and maybe Kane Cook's going to get a speeding penalty for that one. He gained a lot of time on Mercurio. We're not sure whether or not that's going to be a penalty, but as it stands, he seems calm and collected. We'll see whether or not they hold him for just a little bit longer. But as it stands, 10th position for Cook. He's going to fall down the running order nonetheless, and it looks like they're going to get to the action shortly. There is Wyatt Tinsley in the 20 machine, leading now by a second over Malik Ray and Tyler Gary in third. Dylan Basin is in fourth, and Michael Frisch is in fifth, as this is going to be the moment for Wyatt Tinsley. He goes down pit road. It looks like it's going to be a big slide by Malik Ray, and he keeps it safe, and he's going to gain a lot of time. A lot of drivers sliding. It looks like Kolinix there as well, and that's how it stacks up. Big gain there by Malik Ray. If he's not able to get a penalty, that's a really good move, and it's going to save him, as it looks like it's going to be the timing's freaking out there for a second. It's a Chevy over 2 Toyotas there in the top 3 spots so far.
Yeah, a couple notes here. As we're watching the penalties go by from race control, no black flags so far for anybody. So the ones you noted who looked they may have been hot coming in, that was Cook and then possibly Malik Ray. No black flags on either. And we're going to see another car, 3 cars come down here.
And that's going to be the driver of the 26 machine, I believe, coming down onto pit road. And how about that? Dylan Basin going to be there as well. And there it goes for the drivers who are up front in this one. And it's going to leave Philip McCandless and I believe the 35 of Punkari all the way out in the lead of this pack. Joseph Armstrong cycled up to the top 5 in the standings so far. And you can see Mercurio is in 8th while Tinsley is in 12th. That might be a change in strategy that plays out over the remainder of this race. But Brian Mercurio appears to be your effective race leader, save for Hawken. Brandon Hawken might have already pitted. And we're not sure whether or not all of this is accurate because it appears people are still cycling out. It's still Punkari, Matthew Zwack who have not pitted yet. And there we go. We got one more.
Yeah, here comes Punkari now. Punkari, of course, a veteran iRacer, knows how to manage the tires. He's a Canadian who loves to race and loves the sport. So just due to his iRacing experience, I'm not surprised to see him take those moments to lead those laps. So here he comes down the box here for 4 tires. And that will help cycle the lead back around.
Absolutely, only one more driver to go in terms of the cycle, and I think he's going to leave it off to Brandon Hawken, so long as Matthew Zwack is able to keep it on the track without an incident and pull himself down onto pit road, getting those extra bonus points for Zwack. It's been a strong night for the driver of the 7 machine, but right now it looks like the ends are not going to make anything, and he's going to have to pull it down. He's not going to make any more time gaps, but he's gotten those extra points, leading those laps for certain, and there it is, the fight between Brandon Hawken and Brian Mercurio. This might be the game ender for the driver of the 7 machine if he hasn't pitted already. Though given the fact he's so close to the drivers such as Mercurio and Hawken, it might just be Matthew Zwack, your race leader, not on an alternate strategy, but on a leading strategy. We'll find out whether or not that's the case. 57 to go.
So Zwack pitted 10 laps ago, so he's good as far as strategy for now. But what I love about green flag stops, David, is basically a game of follow the leader or a game of trendsetters. You know, you would have thought maybe those guys were going to try to hold off and to split this run down the middle. Those guys went about 40 laps on their tires. They had 60 to go. But once 1 or 2 guys does it, you see, and someone passes you on new tires. Oh man, it's so frustrating. I want those. That's what you say as a driver. Man, I want some of those, and you just go do it. You know, once someone pits, it's like the floodgates open. I'm surprised no one tried to wait this out a little longer and to split this run down the middle.
Well, as you say, tires are a big factor. As you see Tinsley slide by Brandon Hawken, and now it's the old battle between the cat and mouse, Mercurio and Tinsley. The race is on for sure between these two, and they only have one more driver to chase down in Matthew Zwack. How about we check an onboard of the Wyatt Tinsley machine? Tyler Tinsley not on this event, but Wyatt Tinsley absolutely is, and we're going to check the driver in third right now and see how he is feeling as the race goes on. This is the nose camera there, and you can see a little bit of that front end as he goes side by side with Mercurio. A really daring move, and it looks like he might be able to make it happen. Yes, he does. Tinsley to the point there. Mercurio might be saving his stuff and letting the driver of the 20 get all the way into it when it comes to aggression and just tail off and fight Matthew Zwack and maybe get back to Tinsley when that fight concludes. And down to the inside once again, both drivers go. Tinsley and Mercurio with Matthew Zwack in the race lead. Only one driver for these two to pass right now, and Tinsley sees that he is pretty far off on Matthew Zwack and 54 laps to go. It's going to be a hard ask for anyone to pass the driver of the 7 machine without a major pace deficit. And the interval is not on your screen right now. Manufacturers are, that is for certain. 2 Toyotas and a Chevy in your podium places, with Malik Ray in the Ford in 4th. Fighting right now with Brandon Hawken. It looks like he's gotten past Hawken and is fighting with a lap car at the moment. It's Tinsley in 2nd nonetheless, and if Tinsley does get this done, it'll be his first win of the season. If Mercurio gets it done, it will be his 6th. How about that? A major deficit when it comes to the victories for Tinsley compared to Mercurio. And how about Matthew Zwack? If he gets this one done, he's 14th in the point standings right now. It will be his 2nd win on the year. Having a great run so far tonight. Might be able to cap it off with his 2nd win on the season. And what a way to end off the season, of course, as he's not in the championship hunt. A good send-off as we wait for the 2023 season to begin in just a few weeks' time. Homestead, 52 laps to go, however, and it's all about this race right now for every driver. It's a 3.75 deficit for the driver of the 20 machine in seconds to our race leader in Matthew Zwack.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out real quick, David, to someone back in 10th place. If we can focus on the 58 car for just a second when we get a moment, that's Michael P. Frisch. He has turned the fastest lap each lap for the past 2 or 3 laps. He's back in 10th, and it's not enough of a gap probably to, take the lead, but consistently turning fast laps back there. Let's take a look here. Yeah, just broken the 34s this time. Last 2 times he was back in the 33s. This is a guy, of course, well known on the iRacing service for his success in the 1987 Legends NASCARs, but having a very good run tonight. Very good top 10 solid run for Michael P. Frisch. You see his lap times are at best as 33.7, and last time by a 34.052. Nice job for that low-line racing driver.
And Lowline Racing having quite the good year. They're just about a race out of the Owners' Championship in points, 258 points the difference, so not mathematically possible when it comes down to it without a perfect race or 2, but still a great season. 9th in the racing standings for the drivers so far. 1 win on the season for Frisch, but a very consistent year nonetheless, and he's pushing it to the limit right now. He's going to pass Jordan Worth in the 98 machine to put himself up into 8th and perhaps get Brandon Hawk in a few moments time. But a great job from Michael Frisch, and it looks like some of these guys in the middle of the pack are overperforming right now, getting some really fast laps through, and it's all about those fast laps at the tail end for some bonus points as the night goes on. Fighting for the best of the rest title, it's Michael Frisch, and a great shout out to mention as the race goes on.
Now you mentioned we were talking about lap times, and you mentioned that Tinsley is running down Zwack. Consistently, Tinsley is about 2 or 3 tenths of a lap faster than the 7 car, so he could get there. There's enough laps to do it. I mean, we're still 49 to go. Lots of time for anything to happen here, but Tinsley is good at running good laps, and is definitely running better laps than your race leader right now.
Absolutely, and strategy might come into play. Not sure if these guys are going to be cleared to go to the end of the race, as is going to be a tough asking for any of these drivers to stretch it that long with 48 laps to go, and it's a 67 lap stage, so strategy could come into the equation very, very early. But Tinsley is at a very good pace when it comes to chasing down Zwack, and Brian Mercurio keeping a good, healthy 0.2 of a second distance to the driver of the 20 machine, and might be able to keep in the fight as the night goes on. And Matthew Zwack in the 7 car is leading the way, but losing some time. Malik Ray keeping touch as well, just about a half second back. And Tinsley now almost under 2 seconds away from the driver of the 7 machine in Zwack. They're now both on the same back straightaway. It's a 2.05 second deficit, and it's now cut under 2 seconds for the first time tonight, and he's lunging into those corners much quicker than Zwack. You can see he's gaining all his time on the entry of the corner. Zwack gets some off of the exit, but it doesn't mean much with the driver like Tinsley chasing it down, and Mercurio even loses some time there. So Tinsley seems to be the driver of this race and might be able to score win number 1 at this pace as the race is in its really final stage. It's 46 laps to go, so shorter distance than our first or second stage. Really all comes down to this.
Yeah, and time is so relative, David, to drivers and your position on the track. Like, yeah, as you said, it's 46 to go, but for Matthew Zwack, maybe even Wyatt Tinsley, who's having a great points night, 46 laps feels like an eternity right now. But if you're someone, let's just pick a random name. If you're Michael Cozy back in 13th, 14th trying to make up space, if you're Kevin McAdams who's back in, I think, 18th or 17th trying to make up space, these laps are ticking by faster than you want them to. Time is such an interesting relative term in a race car that it's hard to track as a driver sometimes.
Absolutely. Time is a very relative concept in these cars, but right now, relatively speaking, Tinsley is much faster, less than a second the distance to catch in to the Matthew Zwack machine. The driver, the number 7, must be looking through his rear view mirror right now, and Mercurio is still just about 2/10 away. These two are coming quick for the driver of that 7 machine, and if Tinsley were to win this race, it would be a perfect race in regards to points. 2 stage wins, that's 40 points. Then it's going to be 5 points for leading a lap, and as it stands, I believe Tinsley is slated to get those 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. So absolutely a masterclass of a race here for Tinsley. If he holds them off and gets that perfect race under his belt, that could set him up to be a championship contender, perhaps a favorite, of course, as we are coming into the final stages of this season.
So as you said, the championship, of course, getting tight here Next week is Martinsville. Lots of beating and banging, lots of short track racing, lots of abusing of your brakes and your tires. And then, of course, those championship four are going to go on to Phoenix, where they're going to race there at the Phoenix Raceway with that new layout. And they'll battle it out. Who those four are going to be, we don't know. We know it will be Kevin King. That we do know, because he was victorious last week after rolling the dice at Vegas and coming up big. But we'll have to wait and see what happens here. It's a good night of racing. You see Malik Ray in the background here again. You know, he's back and forth. He's had a really great night. Kind of a quiet night. We focused on him, but just kind of subtly up there waiting to make his move. Don't be surprised if Malik Ray's involved in the finish of this race, David.
Absolutely, he is in third, and he's keeping touching distance with Mercurial and Tinsley, who are your new top two. And as you mentioned, all the changes in the driver lineup right now in the remainder of the season, it is now Tinsley leading the way, as we're watching Dylan Bazin and Michael Frisch having similar battle to your top two drivers. And it looks like Frisch is latching on to the driver of the 04 machine right now. Single file action throughout the majority of the field, and it looks to be the case overall, as you see one driver slip through the running order. Not sure what's going on there. No caution on the racetrack, and there might have just been a shuffle through the remainder of the packs. It seems a few drivers are fighting pretty hard. Cozy up to 11th. McAdams fighting for 14th right now. And this is the onboard shot once again for Dylan Bazin. Let's see what he does this time.
A beautiful shot here. You got down the onboard. You got the driver cam there down on the side. See that beautiful curved monitor, just part of it, of that beautiful racing rig that he has set up for himself there.
And absolutely a curved monitor, and you could see a good portion of it there on the side of your screen, or rather the bottom left of your screen. Now it's disappeared, but he's fighting hard right now, and it looks like that's Matthew Zwack is fighting hard as well. He's losing spots big time. He's gone from first to sixth in the matter of 10 laps, and Dylan Bazin might be the next guy to catch him with 40 laps remaining. It's three drivers separated by 9/10 of a second up front, but it looks like Zwack is slipping and sliding. Saw a little bit of spin there. Looks like a little bit of a rear end lost there in control, and it looks like Dylan Bazin going to be catching him next. How about that for the driver of the 7 machine? Having a great race overall, but it looks like it's all slipping away at the tail end of it. 39 laps to go, and the best driver in terms of the championship hunt tonight, it has been Wyatt Tinsley, with Brian Mercurio in the 41 machine in second, Malik Ray in third. Those two guys class of the field as we're watching Bazin getting a move done on the driver just beside him in Michael Frisch. Not Michael Frisch, that is a lap car according to timing and scoring, but I don't think it is. I think that's actually Kolinix, because he's going to make the move there, and yes, he does, but I'm not sure. It doesn't appear to be showing up a timing and scoring right now. But either way, Dylan Bazin gets past Matthew Zwack, and Michael Frisch going to be the next to take care of that 7 machine.
But yeah, so David, right now we are, depending on when you pitted, we are 20 to 30 laps into this run with 38 laps to go. I don't see any way that these drivers are going to make it all 6 to 8 laps just on the tires. Let's not even talk about gas. There's no way these tires at Homestead hold out for that many laps. So the question now is, when do you come down? What do you do? Is someone who, because FTF history tells us someone will, who would be bold enough to take 2 tires here? That is a common strategy we see in FTF at the end of races. And for some drivers it works out, for some it doesn't. The question is, who will be the first one to try it out and be the guinea pig for the rest of the field?
That is a very important question to ask, and we'll see who answers that one, because with 37 laps to go, it is not going to be enough for these drivers to hold on, whether it is tires or whether it is fuel. And it's a very abrasive surface over time, Homestead-Miami, when you're on the precise pinpoint accuracy that you have to be at this track every single lap. It becomes a challenge to hold on, and when you do hold on, you feel like you're one of the best drivers on the surface, but over the time that these tires take on you, it's going to be much harder to keep it going as well as you hoped. Take, for instance, Matthew Zwack down to 8th right now. He's running very, very well at the start of this run, but now down into the lower half of the top 10. He might need to make another bold strategy move if he wants to be able to get that victory done and done. But right now, he's falling back, and he just has to be bold, as we see some drivers coming in. That's Justin Melillo coming in with 36 laps to go. It is time to consider whether or not the strategy is going to be put into effect now or in just a few laps time. Maybe we'll see some guys coming down by the 25 to 20 lap to go marker.
Yeah, I see a few names already on the board, David. I saw Jordan Worth is down on pit road. We just saw try it again. We just heard a pit road call for the 48. They're coming in this time. So apparently this is about the time where we start to see those strategies take effect here. I'll keep a look into pit box times as you keep calling the race.
Absolutely. Pit box times especially important as the 48 machine in 26 right now on pit road. But these leaders, when they come down to pit road, it'll be especially important. There's Kevin King with his damaged machinery fighting with the remainder of the pack. He has made up a few spots, but not enough to be especially important in tonight's going. Unfortunate for him, but locked into the final four nonetheless. And the championship going to come down to him and 3 other drivers. Whether or not those drivers are the likes of Tinsley and Mercurio, we'll find out. Tinsley has the chance to put himself in with his first win of the season, coming 33 weeks into this championship. Rather, 33 races. We got one of the wall there for just a moment, and that's 2 cars behind Kevin King. Not sure what's going on there, as it's side by side once again, and it looks like we've got McCandless in 11th involved with Kevin McAdams side by side, and it looks like these guys have not pitted just yet.
No, very few people pitted so far. King Cook just came down pit road. Parker White was on 7 laps ago. Jordan Worth was down 3 laps ago. But most of these drivers up front, in fact, all the drivers up front, as you're seeing on your screen here, have not pitted in this cycle yet. But I suspect soon is the answer to that.
Absolutely, soon has to be the answer to that. 65% fuel and a track that's very, very hard on tires. The equation is going to lead you to one answer, and it all comes down to this. Stops, and effective stops. That is the answer to your strategy. With 32 laps to go, a driver like Tinsley might be able to be the driver who answers the question of who's got the best strategy. But look at this. Brian Mercurio is now down to a sub 0.3 of a second lead deficit, and he's gaining slowly but surely on the driver. The 23 machine, or rather the 20 machine, it's the 23, is far off the pace tonight. Mercurio is there, but only by just a few car lengths, as Parker White going to take it high on him. Maybe going to be able to take it high on Tinsley, as Tinsley looks like he's actually going to go and try to block Parker White. Not sure what that's about. Maybe just a little bit of a skate up, but White going to be able to make the move on him, and Mercurio is going to have his optimal line while it's going to be taken away from Wyatt Tinsley. That's going to be just a little bit of a disadvantage for the driver of the 20 machine, as it's lap traffic that's faster, fighting the lead lap cars. We got one on pit road there. That looks to be, not sure who, not Justin Malillo, that's for certain, but it was a driver around Mercurio there, as Mercurio and Tinsley now going to be fighting almost side by side for the race lead for the first time tonight. Cutting away, there's Michael Frisch on pit road, but look at that. It looks like Mercurio for the first time tonight is getting up to the long run car of Tinsley on the long run, and this could be make or break. Who goes into pit road first, as Mercurio is going to go to the inside line now. Looks like Brian Mercurio has something cooking, and he's got 2 drivers much faster, and Mercurio is looking as Kane Cook and Malik Ray are fighting hard here. It looks like a little bit of a shove there, and Mercurio is going to take one from a lap car. Kane Cook tries to make the move, and he must not be happy as the lap car interferes with the lead battle.
Yeah, that can always be frustrating as a driver when you get a car who's a lap down involved here. It just messes me. You want them to move so bad, and it angers you or frustrates you, but it'll work itself out. Just be patient. You know, those guys are there, and they'll cycle back around.
Absolutely, they're going to cycle their way back around, but right now the top 2 drivers include Brian Mercurio, and the question must be asked, maybe he wanted to pit that time by. Doesn't look like that's the case as he gets moved off of the low line once again. He didn't slow down one bit, but maybe it's going to be a little bit harder to slow down with all these guys fighting for position just beside you, and it looks like Mercurio going to have to let these guys go if he does want to pit. There goes the 23 machine that we mentioned beforehand. A little bit of a mistake to mention him in the place of Wyatt Tinsley, but now he's going to be chasing Tinsley, and Mercurio getting a little bit of a shakeup by these lap cars who are much faster and much more aggressive than even the leaders were, as it looks like Wyatt Tinsley going to be able to have a little bit of a gap to his rival in this race. And there it looks like he's going to go this time by. Brian Mercurio makes his way on a pit road, and a little bit of a late stop. We might have seen him come down earlier if he wasn't pressured there by those lapped drivers. Here he comes, 27 to go, and Brian is on pit road.
Yep, so that, of course, will be his final stop of the night, and, you know, he's down there, and nice entry there, by the way, by all these drivers to get on pit road. This is not the easiest pit road to get on, David.
Absolutely a very hard one to get on. We saw Nate Stewart and Joseph Armstrong involved in the incident. That was our last caution of the night. We've gone almost 100 laps caution free so far. 27 laps to go. We're certainly going to hit that mark as Malik Ray skids on to pit road. He's going to make it, but this time by it might be another question whether or not he gets a penalty. That was a very, very close one, but it looks like He's just fine once again. 26 laps to go, and Wyatt Tinsley leads the way by 10 seconds now over Malik Ray, and it's going to be Mercurio who has to cycle around as Tinsley still on the racetrack. Appears to be the only driver on the racetrack right now, as a lot of guys are coming down pit road for the first time in this stage and the last time in this race, barring a caution.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about watching Malik Ray do his pit stops? I had a chance to talk with Blake Reynolds about a year ago about some different topics, and we talked about what's one skill that, you know, drivers should learn to make themselves better or take an advantage of iRacing, and he told me pit road entry. He said if you don't sit there and practice your pit road entry and get every possible inch out of it you can before you get down to speed, you're giving up free spots to people over time. And that's what you see Malik Ray do there. Malik is good at pushing it to the very last second to get that car slowed down. Why give up free time on the track if you don't need to?
And that's a very good point. Pit road entry, especially important with the competitive field like this one. A lot of professionals in the eNASCAR scene here tonight, racing to their heart's content and racing to the fullest with 25 laps to go. Every second matters. Over 167 laps and 400 kilometers to decide this victory in the Barr Visuals FTF Cup Series. It's a lot of work to be at your best in this series. And right now, Philip McCandless, from a wreck early on in the race, is your race leader, getting some bonus points tonight. Not bad for the driver, the 109 machine, as it looks like Mercurio has cycled above Tinsley by 5 positions right now. It's 8 to 13th, relatively speaking, for both drivers, as McCandless is your race leader right now, 24 to go.
Yeah, of course, as we said earlier, Philip McCandless made, you know, a big move a couple weeks ago here on FTF when he won the Yankee 600, and doing well tonight. He's got another driver coming down pit road here, and now they're just about to complete the cycle. Now, to follow up on a comment I made earlier, David, I said who would be brave enough to take 2 tires? You know what the answer is? Nobody. No. That was an idea I had that we've seen in past FTF races. No one stood it. They all said, hey, 4 tires is the right answer. So no one took 2 tires in this cycle. Now, if a caution comes out, maybe we see it. But as of right now, everyone took 4 tires and gas on this cycle of pit stops.
Well, how about that? Everyone playing it just a bit safer than usual according to FTF standard, but nonetheless, everyone's fighting as hard as ever. McCandless staying on the track right now with Cozy in the 2nd spot. Kane Cook is in 3rd. Cozy certainly trying to reel McCandless down for some extra points if he's able to do so. Going to be an especially impressive job as the driver of the 31 machine, David Carrera, going to go by your current race leader. And it looks like maybe it's going to be the McCandless machine coming down pit road next time by. He's got to do it sometime soon, because there's no way he holds on for much longer than this.
Yeah, I mean, right now, both McCandless and Michael Cozy are the drivers who haven't pit yet. Now, of course, you know, coming down to 22 to go, what they're hoping for at this point, David, is a yellow that comes out and kind of resets the field to a certain extent. Maybe everyone comes down with them to put new tires on or whatnot. These guys are just hoping beyond hope that that yellow would come out.
Absolutely, the yellow would be the savior for these drivers right now. You can see there the driver of the 41 machine, and Brian Mercurio, has several seconds on Wyatt Tinsley. It's a 2-second gap, and these guys were only running with a 2-second deficit in pace over the course of 40 laps. So it's going to be very hard for a driver like Tinsley to chase down a driver as quick as Mercurio. Michael Cozy going to come in for the first time in this stage and last time in this race, and it's 20 laps to go. We're going to take our final break of the night and then get back to the action in just a few months' time. Philip McCandless, your race leader, and we're going to take the quick one. 20 laps to go. And as you can see, Philip McCandless coming down onto pit road right now. He's already fallen 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spots already down onto 10th position. Now, your race leader has came in with 16 laps to go, and Tyler Gary is now fighting with Kane Cook for the race lead. That's going to take the driver of the 109 machine out of winning contention, but still a good few laps up there up front, getting some bonus points there for the driver of the 109 machine. How about that for Kane Cook now, your new race leader with Tyler Gary chasing him down hot and heavy, and Brian Mercurio 3 seconds back. He's going to have to pull something out of himself. Maybe magic in a bottle he's going to find, because he's 3 seconds down with 15 laps to go. It's going to be a hard ask for the driver of the 41 to get back into leading contention, as Gary's going to go on the inside and just slice through Tyler Gary, your new race leader, with 15 laps left in this race. And it looks like Kane Cook can get really wiggly. You can see Mercurio in the back of your screen looking for win number 6. And if he gets it done here, he's going to have to pass 2 more guys, and one of them is pretty far out.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, for how he probably feels right now, both of them are pretty far out, David. But yeah, Tyler Gary here took that lead, kind of leaned up on Cook. Maybe not made contact, but definitely got close and kind of leaned in. The whole 8 tires is better than 4 mentality. And then got on by. So it's Gary and then Cook, and then Mercurio and Tinsley are your first 2 playoff drivers that are coming through your screen right now.
Absolutely, and with 14 laps to go, every moment matters. It looks like Mercurio has the pace over the top 2 drivers right now, but Tyler Gary looking to stretch this one for 14 more laps. Now less than 14 laps. Going to be just about 13 laps for him to go and stretch this one all the way to the end in terms of tire life and, of course, on fuel. I think he's got what it takes to get it done in terms of timing, but if he has the speed to do so, he's got to show it, because Brian Mercurio and Wyatt Tinsley are both running him down in style here tonight. It's a Chevy leading the way, but a Ford and another Chevy chasing him down, but Kane Cook might just be losing time as Mercurio is closer and closer every lap we see him on the backstretch cameras.
Yeah, what a great run these guys have had. And look at that car way up on the top there, David. I don't know who that was, but that is an impressive run by that car back there. I think it's Wyatt Tinsley we're seeing ride the wall like that this late in the race and this late into that run. That's a good run there. But man, ever since Tyler Gary got around Cook, he has just walked away. But here comes Mercurio now. You see him now getting up on the back end of Cook here. And every time you see Cook kind of get a little sideways in the corner like that, you get hopeful when you're Mercurio. Get a little happy, get a little eager, and you make this pass on the inside, David.
An opportunistic move, and it's going to work out for the driver of the 41. Kane Cook passed, and 1 spot to chase down for the driver of the 41 machine. But watch out, Wyatt Tinsley is coming, and he's coming quick. It looks like he's going to be able to make it around Kane Cook within the same lap or so in terms of distance. Going to get him on the front straightaway, while Mercurio got him down the back. It's time for Tyler Gary to meet his match. 2 drivers equally quick, and it looks like maybe Wyatt Tinsley's been a little bit quicker because he's caught Mercurio down by several seconds to a few tenths. And Tyler Gary, 11 laps to go, just got to hold on now as Malik Ray is going to make his way past and forth. And Malik Ray's kept touching distance with these 2 drivers out front and Mercurio and Tinsley all night long. Don't keep Malik Ray out of your mind, because he's still fighting hard in 4th position, is looking for a solid podium, if not a little more, as the race is coming into its final stage for certain. 10 laps to go in this one.
Now we are down to the final bit of this race here, David. Of course, you started, a couple hours ago, and we're down to these moments here where anything can still happen. Cautions can still happen, lead changes, strategy, all of it's still possible. 10 laps at Homestead. This is a big track. 10 laps is still a good amount of distance.
Absolutely, Mercurio and Tinsley are glued together once again, and Tyler Gary's just got to wait and see whether or not he's able to hold on to this one. He's still got a little bit of a cushion with now 9 laps to do it, but it's still going to be a hard ask for any driver to hold on to 2 drivers so quick. When he's able to do so, it's going to be a very impressive victory for the driver of the 026 machine. Having a great race here tonight. Gary is with the best race. Might just go to Tyler Tinsley, or rather Wyatt Tinsley. My apologies once more. Tinsley getting the job done on Mercurio. That is for second, as it looks like Mercurio is going to have to hold on to the higher line, and Brian Mercurio meeting his match maybe a little too early, as it's going to be Wyatt Tinsley now into the 2nd spot. And they're side by side once again for a little bit of a door bang there, and it looks like it's going to screw with the driver of the 41 machine there. He's going to spin around like a screw, and he's going to be wobbled up, and here we go again. 8 laps to go. How about that for the driver of the 41 machine? Tinsley in the number 20 now. He's going to be fighting hard with Tyler Gary, the only driver in front of him, but don't count out Mercurio just yet. 8 laps to go. Desperation. It might come into play. Very big crossover. Gary, that's teammates, isn't it? Same colors. It looks like the same sponsor, but no, it isn't. That might just be a coincidence. 3 purple cars in frame, and Gary got really sliced up. Not sure what that was, but Tyler Gary, not teammates, but that was a very bad move for the driver of the 026 machine. My apologies, what a coincidence. And Gary just got shuffled around.
Yeah, that's the moments that tight, points-driven racing at Homestead can give you. Oh man, I thought for certain that green car was going to come up there and get into Gary. That, of course, being Tinsley, but no, they made it clean. That looked scary for a second. Guys, they got what I believe to be a lapped car ahead of them as we have about 6 laps to go here. Anything can still happen.
6 laps to go, and your new race leader, it is Wyatt Tinsley, and he has made a great move there, and he is a triple-digit threat as well, a very small one inside that 20. The 120 machine has made his way all the way up, and the 026 is just behind him, but don't count out Malik Ray. There he goes. He's going to get around Tyler Gary, and Brian Mercurio is in the hunt as well. It's 3 cars fighting for the victory, and of course the driver of the 26 is still in second, looking to salvage a top 5 at day's end, with Dylan Basin fighting as hard as ever. But side by side, looks like they're wearing each other out, Mercurio and Gary. This is going to give the driver of the 41 machine, Mercurio, a great opportunity. He's going to get by on Gary. Now it's up to him to chase down with 5 laps to go. Your new race leader, who's looking for a perfect race, a max out in points, 250 if Wyatt Tinsley can get this one done. 5 laps left.
Yeah, this is what we talked about earlier. Time is relative here. Tinsley, of course, these laps cannot count down fast enough if you're the race leader. If you're Michael Cozy back in 15 trying to make up points, oh my gosh, can we add more time? But yeah, 4 to go here. Tinsley now getting that lead over Malik Ray. We said he could possibly win this race tonight, David. And here we go. Let's find out.
Absolutely, Malik Ray. He's just about a few seconds away now, maybe a second and a half away from Wyatt Tinsley, and Tinsley's had the pace to beat all night. It's time to give it all you've got if you're Malik Ray. And with 4 laps to go, it's going to be 1 lap car. That might be your saving grace, but if it isn't, it's all about raw pace with 3 laps to go, of course. And it's going to be Tinsley leading Ray, and Malik Ray is going to have to give it 110% if he wants to chase down the driver, Wyatt Tinsley, who's going to have to play it calm and collected to get his first win on the season, and it couldn't come at a better time if he's going to get it right now. How about that if he's able to do so? But it's not over until it's over, and the checkered flag has not flown, so he's still got to fight to live to see another day. There he goes once again, the 20 machine does, and he's going to come up to a dodge here, actually. He's going to have to make a move on the lap car just in front of him, a triple-digit threat, and he's going to get right by with ease. 2 laps to go now.
Yeah, the lap car there stayed out of the way. Going to make it a good, clean race here between first and second. Malik Ray, though, is a veteran of the service. I'm not surprised to see him up here, and he will use every iota of advantage he can find to see if he can run down Wyatt Tinsley here. Of course, for Tinsley, this is a big moment. This will lock him in to that championship race at Phoenix and make only 2 spots available to race for next week at Martinsville if this pays off.
That is for certain. Chasing the checkered flag, Malik Ray is, but with 1 lap to go, it's going to be Wyatt Tinsley chasing his first win of the season and chasing a lock into the championship in Phoenix. 1 lap left, and Malik Ray is giving it all she's got in the number 7 machine. 3/10 the difference right now. Coming down the back straightaway, it looks like it's going to be nothing so far. Mercurio going to get around the lap car, but it's going to come down to these 2 drivers. Big lunge. What's he going to do? He's going to pull a video game move down to the outside wall. Big slide. Is it going to work out? No, it is not. He's going to slide down and give away the spot to Mercurio, but it's going to be Wyatt Tinsley, the winner of the Kick in the Tires 400-kilometer in Homestead. Wow, what a move. Didn't pay off, though.
No, it really didn't pay off. That's a big risk there. When you're not a playoff driver, you have nothing to lose. You might as well go for it, and that's what Malik did. Hoping we get to see a replay of it so you can see it again. But that's what you do when you're not a playoff driver. You just go for wins. And Malik just came up short that time.
Malik Ray, of course, gave it all that car had, and maybe just a little too much, because he fell out of control immediately after Mercurio gets the second position, and the perfect race for Wyatt Tinsley. All 250 points collected in tonight's showing, and the perfect circumstances. First win of the season, and it comes in style of burning it down. 33 races into the championship, now 34 races. He punches his ticket with 2 races left to go, and it's going to be 2 spots available for that final 4, and 1 is going to be locked in by Wyatt Tinsley. Incredible. That move almost paid off. We saw him lead for just a moment, but not enough to get the victory, and the video game move doesn't pay off. The simulator proves its worth in terms of physics. Malik Ray does not come out victorious. Wow. That was something else. We're going to try to get a look at that again. You could see Malik Ray slides up, and he gets the lead for just a moment, but he slams the wall and loses all that momentum. He was very close until the tail end of that, and then just slides it into the wall. And actually, looks like he came out with second nonetheless. Mercurio gets third, and barely Malik Ray is going to be the one who comes out with second position. Wow.
That's a great save by Malik, despite what anyone thinks of the move he made there at the end of the race. To me, the real moment there was watching him save that car. A lot of the drivers on the service would not have done that. So let's go and look through your top 10 here, David. You got Wyatt Tinsley coming home in your race lead. Malik Ray comes in second. Brian Mercurio in third. Tyler Gary in fourth. Dylan Basin in fifth. Michael P. Frisch in sixth. Kane Cook in seventh. Brandon Hawken in eighth. Alex Connick's in ninth. And Matthews Weck, pardon me, will come in 10th here. Let's go ahead and round it out through 11th. Kevin McAdams. 12th is Jonathan Oates. 13th is Michael Cozy Jr. 14th is Jordan Worth. 15th is Parker White. 16th is Nathan Rabideau. 17th is Nate Stewart, who came out back around despite that damage he had earlier. Chris Wetz in 18th, and David Cabrera rounds out your cars on the lead lap. And 19th was Matt Spalding, and 20th, 1 lap down. Then we'll go over to 21st, and we'll find Joseph Armstrong, 1 lap down. And then Philip McCandless, Ryan Nowacki, Corey Cook, Brett Pankari, Ryan Pandisco, Kevin King, Andy Margot, Scott Smith, and Justin Malolo, also 1 lap down, going all the way down to 30th. 2 laps down, Jeremy Clapper and Art Reimer and Lane Tubble. And then Robert Dorman, 8 laps down. Tyler Williams, 11 laps down. Cosmin Ionescu, 30 laps down. Lucas Plosel, 41 laps down. Josh Parker, 81 laps down. Devin Mistak, 85. And Spencer Ray, 102 laps down, MP 40. Rounding out then Trevor Perry, Chandler Parsons, and Jake Poland in this 43-car field.
And that is your race results, but only one driver can get it done, and this seems to be the most important win of the season for the driver of the 120 machine. 34 races into the season, and win number 1. You're locked into the final 4. How you feeling, Wyatt Tinsley? What a race. You seem to just max out every advantage you could get.
Yes, let's fucking go. It was a fantastic race. We swept the first stage, and then we swept the second stage. Brian told me to save a set of tires, and then we ended up getting a caution with 10 laps later, and we were able to go and battle Cozy for the stage win, and we went right around him. I was kind of sad that the caution came out because we were sitting pretty good, like 3 seconds ahead of Brian, because I know Brian was coming. But overall, really good race. I'm just really proud. Let's go. We're in the championship 4. I think I would have made it on points, but I just wanted to make it because I swept the first stages and I want to finish top 3 100%. But the win just maximized it. I've always been so close in this league, man. It's just, whew.
Absolutely. So close, but this time you get it done. You just seem to have the pace of the long run. Were you worried at any point that we would have a short run and perhaps you'd fall back? Because Mercurio seemed to have a very balanced card like yours, and maybe it was a bit better on the short run, but you proved them wrong in the long run. Was there any doubt in your mind towards the tail end?
No, but always the caution, something happens, and I know I had pretty good short run pace. I was just kind of saving tires there, so I'd have long run pace was pretty good there, but I don't know. I was just in a call with Kevin and Brian and Malik there, and we were just all battling it out, and me and Brian battling for the stage 1. I didn't mean to pinch him too hard, but overall the set was good. It was just a tad loose long run, but cutting the fuel off definitely made it important. So overall a good race. I appreciate everyone watching. Yeah.
And how about that? What a race for you. Now with 2 races remaining in the season following this one, what's the game plan going from here? Locked in, and you've got 2 weeks or so to prepare for that final race going for the championship. What is the goal from here on out?
I think the next track Martinsville. I think Martinsville we're just gonna take it calm and collected, and we're not gonna get any penalty points, and we're just gonna don't have to worry about anything. I guess just how Justin Argar or Josh Berry was today at the Xfinity race. We'll just be open-minded, and we'll just be ready for the championship race. I know Kevin's gonna be really good there, and whoever else, Brian looks pretty good. And it's just gonna be an all-out brawl, and I'm happy to be a part of the championship for this season. It was all yeah.
Absolutely part of the championship for and getting the victory when it mattered most. Driver the 120 machine and Wyatt Tinsley, what a performance getting it done, and you're going to be battling for that title in Phoenix. Great job and thank you for your time. And that is the driver who won this event there. And how about we get the driver in second tonight? And that was Malik Ray. At the end of the day, getting second in a very close finish there with Brian Mercurio. Can you lay us through those final few laps?
Oh, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I bonsai'd turn 3 and 4 because I was trying to get to Wyatt. I wasn't trying to hit him. I was trying to get to his outside to make him overdrive the corner. And I did get to his outside, but then I also, in the process, knocked down the entire wall, so I wasn't able to do anything with him. But, I mean, other than that, that was a very solid race. I enjoyed that a lot. Feel bad for Tyler, though, because he got messed up by those lap cars.
Now, absolutely a very solid race for you. Kept in touch with the top 2 drivers all night. And what was the game plan? Of course, it seemed like Mercurio and Tinsley were glued to each other all night. Were you just laying back to see whether or not they'd get to each other at the tail end, perhaps wreck, and you'd be able to take the spoils of it? Or was the game plan to just get aggressive at the tail end like you did?
I was just trying to lay back on the last run because I knew Wyatt had a lot fresher tires than me, and I was hoping that that I would be able to save enough tires to where like I could get to him, but I just didn't have enough in me, man. He just he just outdrove me on the last run, to be honest with you.
Well, absolutely a very, very impressive long run for both drivers. Of course, Tinsley getting it done here tonight. Was there any thought at the tail end of that maneuver was able to make you the winner? Because certainly you were very close there. We saw you had the lead for just a moment coming through the final turn, but it looks like at the end of the day, you bobbled out of control and barely stole the second position. Of course, not stole. You were in second beforehand, but barely came out with that second over Mercurio.
I knew that if I wall rode the entire corner that I would beat him, like if I did that, but that's also against the sporting code, and I'm not trying to get protested, so I tried to just dive it in there and then bounce off the wall. So that was the only hope I had at him, and that still didn't work. Pain.
Absolutely went for it nonetheless. Now we have 2 races to go. Do we expect to see you back again chasing the checkered flag for the final 2 races of the season, or is this it for your run in this season?
I have to get a win, man. I have to. I have no choice but to show up for the last 2 races.
Well, how about that runner-up?
They are.
Oh, my apologies. Any final thoughts before we leave this one off?
Nah, man. I appreciate you guys broadcasting and whatnot, and I'll see you boys next Saturday.
Well, how about that runner-up here tonight and looking for the first victory on the season? That was Malik Ray. And how about that? Now we're going to get to our final driver of the night in the podium procedure. It is Brian Mercurio, third on the night, and a very solid long-run car. But it looks like at the tail end of it, not able to capitalize on it. Unfortunately, how was your race from the top to the bottom?
I think I did pretty good at the beginning. Wyatt got out to a big lead, but I was starting to chip away at him before that caution came out. Then, it's kind of trying to find a balance between whether you want to push, whether you kind of want to save tires, trying to find the right balance, especially relative to, not only the guys you've been racing the whole race, but, one guy could start pushing and kind of change the whole pace of the race. So, just trying to figure that out. I think I got pretty decent stage points. Cool. I think I'll have a pretty healthy gap, as if I didn't already, going into Martinsville, so that's cool. And then just last couple runs there, I pit early on the one run, and once you pit early once, you kind of have to commit to the undercut relative to everybody. It's just Malik and Wyatt had the tire advantage, so tried to hold on for as long as I could. Didn't even get the lead really. By the time we call it Tyler again. So, yeah. Congrats to Wyatt. It was a fun race between me, him, and Malik. But, yeah, another P3.
How about that? Rounding out the podium here tonight in a very risky move there by Malik Ray. Was there any thought that you were able to get second at the tail end of it?
Nah, probably not. Wyatt had the 2-lap tire advantage. Malik had the 1-lap advantage. So it was at that point, it's just a matter of time until they get around you. And then, yeah, just kind of trying to hold on for dear life. I knew, I don't know, maybe Malik tried something going into 3 there. I think he was just seeing if he can go for the win. He's not racing for points or anything. So, yeah, the 2 of them went at it. Wyatt got the win. And then finished 3rd, 2nd race in a row. And we'll be on to Martinsville.
Absolutely, and as you stated beforehand, very healthy gap going into Martinsville. What's the game plan from here on out? 5 victories on the season, certainly looking for just a few more and perhaps that championship, as you only got so much time to decide who is going to get it done in that Final 4.
Stay on the lead lap and keep all the fenders on it. That's the goal. If I run well, cool. If I don't run well, I think it would pretty much take a miracle for anybody else to get in, aside from somebody who's below the cut to win. And I think even then, I'd probably point myself in. I think Kevin and maybe Blake were the only 2 other guys that were high up. Maybe Wyatt. I'm not too sure, but I think I could point myself in. So if I don't win, I think I'm pretty comfortable on points regardless. So keep all the fenders on it and finish on the lead lap. I think I'll be all right.
Absolutely, back-to-back 3rd places, as you mentioned, and consistency going into Martinsville, and the gap is increasing to lock you into the round for the Final 4. Thank you for your time, Brian Mercurio. 3rd tonight, and that concludes our podium procedure. And how about that for tonight's event? It's going to be an incredible victory there by Wyatt Tinsley, maxing out the points, and what a performance put on tonight. And any final thoughts before we leave this one off?
I think the honest thought is a couple of things. One, it was a great night of driving by all these drivers. Only a couple of cautions in a setup and a track that's been problematic, to say the least, throughout the weekend iRacing. And big points implications. Of course, we had a spot locked in. And then with Blake Reynolds not being here, the points will shuffle. We'll wait and see how they fall out when official scoring is done. But it was a great night of racing overall, David.
Absolutely was a great night of racing, and next week at Martinsville, it's going to be another one. Only 2 more races to decide this championship, and it's going to be incredible to see who's able to get it done. And if we see another winner, or perhaps we see a repeat one, maybe this is going to be the move that puts Wyatt Tinsley into contention week after week. We'll just have to wait and see. What a performance by every driver involved, and we hope that you enjoyed tonight's performance here as well. Thank you all for watching, and I think that's going to leave us off here in watching the FTF Cup Series, and that is your King of the Tires 400-kilometer race at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Thank you all for joining us here tonight. We hope you have a great night. I'm David Kreutz, joined here tonight by Derek Watson, and we really do hope that you enjoy this one, and we hope you have a great night and a great rest of your weekend.